Over 20 years ago, Alex Jones created the media platform called InfoWars, and in the decades since, it's grown into a truly remarkable institution with over 200 radio affiliates, tens of millions of unique website visitors monthly, and a 24/7 live news TV channel broadcasting from state-of-the-art studios in Austin, Texas. InfoWars has become the most trusted independent news source in the country, dedicated to delivering breaking news, live coverage of special events, and exclusive reports you won't find anywhere else. While the old guard media struggles to maintain supremacy in a landscape rocked by innovation and technology, InfoWars has been at the forefront of the information revolution. From 8 million radio listeners, over 2 million YouTube subscribers, or the billions of views of our online content, InfoWars proves dominant in every facet of media we enter. For the hardest-hitting reports, uncompromising analysis, for high-profile interviews and bombshell revelations, accept no substitutes. Demand truth. Demand InfoWars. InfoWars. Tomorrow's news today.
It is Thursday, July 19th, 2018, and there is so much news to get to and cover here today on the Alex Jones Show that even when Alex goes away to try to take a vacation, wild horses cannot drag him away because the news is simply too big. Alex joins me now on the phone. He's going to be with us at least for the first hour. Alex, I'm not sure what the biggest news to you today is, but it is a real plethora out here, and all of it's important.
Well, I mean, centrally, this is the most important thing. And just to be clear, because I wasn't clear with you, I was just dealing with some family issues with my wife's family and some family she's had that's been ill. So that's what I kind of took these few days off. So I did this a few weeks ago, but I'm going to be working here from the road. And I really appreciate you and the rest of the crew doing a superlative job. I mean, here's the headline. Trump says he'll have another meeting with Putin. Again, calls the media the enemy of the people and the enemy of peace, and says they want war. And it's absolutely true. And now the Democrats and Republicans are saying, oh, this will keep the whole Mueller probe going more now. So we're covering it all at Infowars.com. But if you go to DrudgeReport.com, you can see all the headlines right there, and it really breaks down the situation we're in as a culture, as a country, as a world. This is really a extremely profound time to be alive, and folks really do need to decide which side they're going to be on in this fight, because they are projecting everything they are onto President Trump. They are the globalists. They're the anti-nation state people. They're the anti-prosperity folks. They want centralization of control. They want social engineering. And if you go to Drudge, it's also up on Infowars.com. It lays out really the big picture there, because Trump looking forward to second Putin meeting. Media wants war, he says. Hell to pay. White House struggles to contain political outcry because there's so many traitors in both parties and so many cowards. Damage control in Air Force One. Botched summit may protect Mueller probe. But it's not a botched summit. They wanted him to go over there and basically say that Russia's the enemy, when clearly it's China that's almost got control of the nation. So true enemies of this country are using Russia as the distraction for their Benedict Arnold-level treason. Court, 500 pieces of evidence against Manafort. What new indictments reveal about spycraft? But remember, none of it's about Russia collusion. It's about offshore bank accounts from 15 years ago. And then the big one, Ivanka versus robots pushes jobs for humans. What have I said? Trump was going to announce at his inauguration speech, I just knew, a pro-human future, unlocking the secrets of the universe, releasing the secret technologies that they've developed. And the deep state doesn't want that. They're a covetous, jealous, hateful breakaway civilization that doesn't want that. So there's Trump working for better deals for humans, working to build a pro-human future, building up people's confidence, building up confidence in America and free market in the world, and being a cheerleader for humanity. And that completely and totally scares the globalists. And so they're the outsiders. They're the enemies. They're the multinationalists. And so their biggest Achilles heel is that they are the globalists, that they're tax exempt, that they have diplomatic immunity, all the things we talk about. And Trump's the only one listening to common sense and listening to what I've said. When look, the media is owned by foreign corporations. It is the enemy. CNN is the enemy of the American people. MSNBC is the enemy. You listen to their privately recorded recordings of Hillary and Obama and the WikiLeaks. It's how much they hate Americans, how they hate Christians, how they hate gun owners, how they hate their own constituents and call them worthless scum and, baristas in their mother's basements, that think they're going to get everything free, and how she sees them as slaves. Trump is really trying to turn the engine of humanity on. And so really, they're bigger than just enemies of the American people. They're enemies of humanity. They're enemies of progress. They're enemies of peace. They're enemies of truth. And Trump and Putin, for 2 hours, 15 minutes, they genuinely came out. You could see the rapport. Russia wants to not be under economic warfare. They don't want war. They've cut their defense spending. We'll be back on the other side. Owen Schroyer co-hosting. I'm Alex Jones on the road. History's happening now. Stay with us, Infowars.com. Ladies and gentlemen, it is Thursday. We're broadcasting worldwide. I'm from the road. Owen Schroyer is in the Infowars News Center in Austin, Texas. We are seeing epic history unfold. Just days after the enemy of the American people, the enemy of world peace, the enemy of prosperity, the enemy of Christians, the enemy of unborn children, the enemy of prosperity, the globalist, Chinese, communist-controlled, big mega bank-controlled, big college-controlled, big Hollywood filth bag-controlled horror media complex said that Trump was a traitor for meeting privately with Putin, which every president does with every other major leader. After lying about what was said and done, after covering up Hillary and all their collusion with the Russians, after all of this, he came out and said, look, I accept the conclusions. All these countries meddle in each other's elections, but Russia's barely on the Richter scale. A lot of people meddle. Hell, the U.S. spends billions a year trying to mess with Russia. We want prosperity. We want economic development. Russia's cutting their defense spending. Let's not start a new Cold War with them. China is the big threat. They're the big enemy. They come out, they ignore all that, and they say, oh, my God, he's Benedict Arnold. He's a traitor. Kill him, remove him. Just unbelievable. It's all over the news. All these former Obama and Hillary people, former CIA directors, deputy FBI directors, military remove him. Congressman Cohen says military coup. They're the enemy, folks. They're the enemy of all this progress you already see. And everything the left always claimed they wanted, peace. Trump calls media real enemy of the people. And goes on to say that mainstream media and corporate media like CNN are enemies of world peace and want war, close quote, while revealing a second meeting with Putin, saying that he's going to meet with him again to discuss all of these issues. The summit with Russia was a great success, except with the real enemy of the American people, the fake news media, Trump wrote. Now, they're going to spin that he says the press is the enemy and free speech. No, he's attacking back with free speech. They're saying he's a traitor that needs to die. They're saying he needs to be removed by the military. He says, you are the enemy, which they are. They are the enemy. They're trying to shut me down. They're trying to shut you down. They're having congressional hearings lying about us, what we've said and done, and then having a consensus we need to be shut down with even the Republican congressman going along with it. They've gotten to Matt Gaetz. The summit with Russia was a great success, except with the real enemy of the people, the fake news media, Trump wrote. I look forward to our second meeting so that we can start implementing some of the many things discussed, including stopping terrorism, security for Israel, nuclear proliferation, cyber attacks, trade, Ukraine, Middle East peace, North Korea, and more. There are many answers, some easy and some hard, to these problems, but they can all be solved. Trump likes to fix things. Trump is a pragmatist. He likes prosperity. And the summit with Russia was a great success, except with the real enemy of the people, the fake news media. Proliferation, cyber attacks, trade. We can solve it all. And they are so upset because the globalists in their own white papers and WikiLeaks and everywhere else admit they have a continual crisis paradigm of continuing to fund terrorists, to fund civil wars, to fund destabilization. Look at every blue state area, not just in our country or blue city, but socialist, communist, authoritarian, progressive leftist systems worldwide. They're all collapsing. They're all super bad. They're all hopeless because that's a system of feudalism that globalists like and that tyrants have always liked to maintain control. So we're now at the epic moment in history, the hyper-epic moment where I'm telling you, folks, it's not hype. when I say they're trying to institute beyond a civil war, but a civil war with their idiot constituents causing an insurrection, causing a destabilization, in their own words, to create a civil emergency to give cover to the criminals that are clearly some of them in Trump's cabinet. He's surrounded. We've got them in Congress on both parties. And the deep state said, you will remove Trump. You will stop this populist insurrection because they need America. They need the United States to hold down the rest of the world, to prop up the EU, and to prop up globalist operations in Latin America and Africa and everywhere, to exploit all these countries and then use them as political weapons with giant refugee mobs pouring in mass. It's the Democrats saying occupy federal buildings and shut down the borders and pull down any gates. It's the Democrats trying to bankrupt the nation and saying they want to bankrupt the economy to teach America to come to heel and submission. This is all public now. It's not me telling you it 20 years ago. It's the Democrats that are trying to bankrupt the dollar. It's the globalists that are trying to sabotage national sovereignty. They're the ones caught funding ISIS and Al-Qaeda. They're the ones that funded the Arab Spring. They're the ones that overthrew Ukraine. They're the ones that have terrorists attacking Russia on its borders. They're the ones trying to start a new Afghan war. They're the ones that are trying to stop trade deals that are more fair and equitable. They're the ones that are trying to keep people poor. They are your enemy. They are my enemy. They are the enemy. They are the enemy. And they're going to stage false flags against themselves once they launch their violent revolution that they're going to call a civil war towards the end of summer, end of the fall. They've all announced it in white papers. They've got the former deputy director of the FBI and CIA, Phil Mudd, on TV saying, we need a civil emergency. We need to overthrow the president. We need the military to take his ass out. Now, I've been proven 1,000% correct in royal flush, absolute ace of spades every time, because I've studied history, I've studied globalists, I know how they overthrow other countries, and I can read their damn statements. I can read their statements. I can read their statements. I can read their actions. I know an enemy when it's attacking me. I know an enemy when it's attacking my family. I know an enemy foaming at the mouth to abort as many babies as it can. I know an enemy trying to inject us with deadly vaccines filled with pathogens declassified to brain damages. I know that they spike our troops after they leave the military with a final round of shots to debilitate them. That's declassified. We have a criminal deep state in control. And if we ever remove these face suckers, if we ever get oxygen back into our country, which we're starting to see. Trump's only gotten 2 tentacles off our neck. We've still got 3 more over our head. It's laying eggs in our guts. And we've got to pull the damn thing off, and we've got to have an emergency surgery and get the embryos out of our stomach, to use an alien analogy. He has not even got the face sucker off yet, and it's trying to strangle us. Oh, you idiot leftists. You fools. You scum. You love this. Look, coming up, I'm going to break it down. From Chicago to Portland to San Francisco. Everyone is canceling their conferences there. Everyone is leaving. There are piles of feces and trash and just people running around. It's like a demon spirit. Men dressed as women with huge beards with feces running down their legs. This is happening in Austin now, too. And they worship men with beards wearing women's wigs with feces all over them. And they just run around going, Satan, Satan, blah, blah. I mean, I've seen it myself. It's some weird. You go look at who protested Trump. It's the same spirit. And it just sucks everything down. It's a spirit of starving children, rats everywhere, rotting garbage, globalist helicopters flying around, landing on top 50-story buildings. They never even leave the ground level. And their spirit is they want to look down from penthouses with their $20 million helicopters, and they want to be able to look down with their binoculars and just see starving, dead, dumb people on fluoride stumbling around with snot running out of their nose. That's what Bill Maher thinks of you and your family. And he told you he's going to have a depression and you're going to starve in the street. And he said he wants more abortion and death. He said, I hate everyone. I want to kill everybody. And even though he tells you that, he sits there all high and mighty trying to destroy this country and destroy this world. But the spirit of liberty is rising, and we will defeat these people. I get angry when I think about who they are and what they stand for. My spirit wants to crush them, doesn't yours? But we got to hold our fire. And we've got to be political, and we've got to expose these bastards. But only President Trump at his level understands that we have enemies running our country that are in full control at a certain level. We have to get back control, and these are people that enjoy hurting you and your family. We'll be right back. Infowars.com, newswars.com. If you don't spread those links, you're serving Soros and the Satanists.
So you're now seeing mainstream news do everything it can to demonize Trump, and Infowars, where if you were watching the newsroom on Fox today, you had commentators on Fox say that InfoWars are Holocaust deniers. Once again, never playing a clip, no proof, no evidence, just make an outlandish claim to try to demonize us. While CNN may want to shut down, Fox might be afraid of us as competition. But regardless, that's what they do. Just like they say Trump-Russia collusion, Russia hacking, and then we've got the video clips. Obama was warned about the Russian hacking in 2014 and 2016, including in congressional hearings. They have testified on this. He stood down. That is a direct quote from his own officials. Stand down on Russian hacking. Now they try to blame President Trump. It shows you how fake they are. And this is why, Alex, they are the enemy of the American people. And I think it's important for Trump to continue to hit them because they're the visual surface enemy of the deep state that we can identify. The shadow government's harder to identify, but the media is easy to point out and say, they are the liars. Here are the people dividing this country.
That's right. When you see MSNBC or CNN or even ABC, NBC, all of them are just as bad now. You are looking at the mouth of the deep state, the mouth of the globalist. And see, I haven't even made the last few segments about InfoWars, but we're right at the center of this. Yes, Zuckerberg came out yesterday and basically defended InfoWars as a good cop, bad cop scenario. I'll talk about that in the last segment of this hour. But he wasn't really doing that. They're already censoring all libertarians, all conservatives, all nationalists. Everybody's been dialed back 80 to 90% on Facebook, YouTube, and Google, and Twitter. They've all agreed about a year and a half ago. And they now admit that. I've told people that for years. Now they use that exact number, 80%. It's more like 90% now, but they admit 80. And it's the same thing. First, they misrepresent what I said about Sandy Hook, where I've had debates on both sides. Then they file lawsuits to create some type of credibility in the media about that. Then they have congressional hearings and say that I said no one died at Parkland and they were crisis actors, which I never said. I was very careful about that because I think it did happen. They misrepresent that. They take down our YouTube channel. Then they have to reinstate it. Later, when it's admitted I didn't say those things, but in congressional hearings, the head of YouTube goes along with, oh, yes, I had my videos taken down. Oh, yes, I did that. Then they have two different congressmen in the meeting say, well, that's like Holocaust denial. And then 2 days later, it is Holocaust denial. See how that extrapolates? So they lie and say that I said nobody died at Parkland, they were crisis actors. Then they lie and say, and connect it to Holocaust denial. And then now they just continue to move forward. And exactly, I told everybody this 4 months ago. The Wall Street Journal had a huge subscription article. I ended up subscribing to read it, like 35 pages long. And other people picked up derivatives of it and said, hold on to your tinfoil hat, Alex Jones. YouTube is going to ban you. And it was the new head of News Corps saying, we are going to move. We met with the big corporate heads of Time Warner and others. We're going to work together. We're going to work with Facebook, Twitter, and YouTube. We're going to ban Alex Jones and WikiLeaks. Once we've set the precedent to deplatform them, we're going to deplatform everyone. I began ringing the alarm bell. 1 month later, they launched the attempted takedown with CNN cheerleading it of us on CNN. This is history. Zuckerberg is now talking about InfoWars. In major statements, they're having congressional hearings in the Judiciary Committee. They are misrepresenting us everywhere. As Owen said, I got calls from the media this morning saying, do you want to respond that you're a Holocaust denier? And I called back two of the media people, and I said, I'm not going to respond to you anymore. Find a damn clip of me saying it, or shut up, because I'm going to start having to sue some people, only because you guys are the ones that are defaming. You're the ones that are out of control. You're a bunch of known frauds. But what they do is they get together as a group, like a locust, and they all just start lying and lying and lying and lying. And why are they doing it? Because I'm exposing that Chinese communists own our national debt. They own the most of it. They own Hollywood, a controlling interest in all 6 major studios. They were trying to buy 3 other sub-studios. When Trump got in, he killed it. The communist Chinese own the media. Okay? Now that's what we've gotten into. They've bought up the universities. They're in control, basically. They have the Office of Personnel Management hack. The media is their mouthpiece. They are the enemy with this constellation of the corrupt unelected EU, the Chi-Coms, Hollywood, the big banks, radical Islam, allied with the devil pope. That's the constellation. That's the army of Mordor. That's all the groups and all the people openly saying, take America's guns, open Europe's borders, open America's borders. You must get rid of your borders. You must bring 200 million people in from the Middle East and North Africa. That's Macron. This is their move. They're making their move. It's happening now. It's going on. This is the globalist takeover. This is World War IV. The Cold War was World War III. Putin is a nationalist. They are under attack by the very same globalist combine, the very same evil combination. We are under the same attack. That's the only reason they keep bringing up Russia, is because they're attacking them as well, and they're the globalists. So again, they have to point at a foreign enemy to make it look like they're Americans. They are the enemy of the American people. They hate the American people. It's in their public statements. It's in the vile hatred of anything Hollywood puts out. It's in all the crap they do. These people are coming for you. They think you're stupid. They think you're done. A lot of people say, how are you taking it being demonized everywhere? How are you taking it being censored? How are you taking it being sued? You know, I thank God for putting me on the front line. I prayed for this on air. Everybody's seen me do it. I prayed at 3 a.m. at night that I could be used as a vessel to take on these people, and God would give me the strength. And God said, I'll do it, but you got to be ready for what's going to happen to you. And I said, amen. Whatever has to happen. I love my family. I love my children. I love life. I'm not looking for this. I don't want to get hurt. But you know what? We're all going to get real hurt if we don't do something to stand up to these people. History's happening right now. In a lot of wars, it's not clear who the good guys and bad guys are. Usually there's beefs on both sides. This is the clearest war anybody could ever ask for. It's not a war we asked for, but it's one. If we got to have one, this is it. Because it's so clear and cut and dry. It's 100% who's good. It's 100% who's bad. There's 100% who's for death and war. It's 100% who's for life and peace. It's 100% who's for prosperity and our unborn children. And it's 100% who's for Satan and evil and death and disease and failure and collapse and ruin for this planet. And I'm telling you, God's testing the world right now with Trump and with all of us and with all these other people, these nationalists, and the worldwide movement of Christians from Latin America to Eastern Europe to Asia trying to fight the globalist takedown. Because every culture's being targeted by the media. Every culture's got the same psychological warfare systems attacking them, and this is a spiritual war. Owen, we're going to come back and get into the blue state collapse, how it fits into the whole global paradigm, their master program, and how to defeat it. But history is now, and listeners need to financially support us, because that's the number one way you can stop them from shutting us down, is spread the links and articles and take advantage at InfoWarsStore.com. We're in a war. We need resupply. We've got products you need, and if everybody doesn't start really getting down and putting it on the line, I'm telling you, the globalists have a chance of winning. But I know people are going to come through InfoWarsStore.com.
And it's amazing to see what they do, and you can see it. We just illustrated it as Alex was talking about it. They put out in all of the Mockingbird press, Washington Post, New York Times, CNN, everywhere, Facebook says InfoWars and Holocaust deniers should exist. So they pretend to separate us while putting us in that conversation. And then what's the next step? InfoWars are Holocaust deniers. That's the propaganda. That's how they do this. This is historical. This is what the Nazis did. We know what we're talking about.
And we are back. It is an information war. I'm on the phone. Owen Schroyer is in studio, riding shotgun with me. He'll be taking over at the end of the hour completely, and has a bunch of guests and critical information for you. Now, I'm going to lay something out here that I've laid out pieces of over the years, but that I'm going to completely, basically break down now. And I'm a big student of history, so I already knew this and had seen pieces of it in textbooks and in history books. But you have to get deeper into the history and the declassifications that happened in Russia and things in the last 20 years to understand it. But when Joseph McCarthy and his head lawyer, Roy Cohn, who was then the president's mentor and lawyer for 25 years, got into the classified documents, they discovered the Carnegie Endowment, the Ford Endowment, and the Rockefeller Endowment were funding communism along with the British government and others, and that they had actually created communism previous to that in the 1870s and had commissioned it as a way to get the serfs who were being freed all over Europe, Russia. These were white slaves. They lived off the land. They're basically sharecroppers. They even had military, the famous Hessian troops out of Prussia were so brainwashed they were proud to be slaves, but they were war slaves. They were actually bred and trained for war. So they had all these different slave colonies all over Europe and all over Russia, and the serfs were being freed. So they came in with communism to basically trick serfs back into a communal system and back into, oh, you'll own this, you'll own that, but it'll be communal. And, of course, we know it was a total setup. That's what communist China is. All this is communist systems who aren't really communist, with a bunch of rich people over it ruling it, exploiting the labor of the poor people. Now, why do I say that? General Benton K. Parton was the former head of Air Force Weapons Development, head of HARP, so many other programs. And he exposed Oklahoma City as being an inside job and a lot more. But he would come on my show along with the former chairman of the Joint Chiefs of Staff, Admiral Moore, before he died, and when he didn't care if they killed him. And they would break down the master plan. That there were groups in our government that knew it was real and knew it was true, and that they were trying to stop it. Now, I'm not going to get into a whole treatise on how communism works, but again, the communism you see in the public is just the outer shell. It's run by the ultra-rich who want monopolies, who want combines. And what they do in communism is they take over a country or a city or a company, they exploit it, they max out its debt, they bring in a bunch of people that are dependent, they create their own taxing authorities, they then loot that, they then collapse it, and then organize the people in that city, in that state, in that nation in the exploitative phase. They've gone to the exploitative phase. They now use it as a domino to attack the next country. It's called the Communist World Takeover Program. It's a program. It's like you go see a play. It has its acts. It has its rollout. People should look up the Communist International Program. This is their plan. They admit it's their plan. And once they get control of your country, they loot it. They suck everything out. They move it to the next country where they're going to set themselves up, and then they exploit and bring that one down. And sometimes they can bring down countries and exploit them within a year. Usually takes 10 years to really get in, suck them dry, like Venezuela or North Korea, any place you've seen. So they're in their exploitive phase, and so it's like a domino. And it falls, and then it falls into the next country. After they've exploited it, they then leverage it to attack the next country. So you wonder, why is everybody fleeing California? Why are they fleeing Oregon? Why are they all fleeing Chicago? Why are they fleeing Maryland? Why are they fleeing New York? Why are they fleeing and even in places like Florida or Texas, they will flee a leftist area like Austin and then move somewhere else, but set the same thing up. Because it's the same program of just like locusts. They come eat your fields and move on. But this is directed. And so Austin is in the phase of being, ratcheted up, pumped up, get the investment in, pump and dump, bring it down, collapse it, move on to the next area. And so that's why they celebrate really deranged, psychopathic, homeless people crapping everywhere. It's why they celebrate garbage everywhere, because it gets more sophisticated now, because they're going to send everybody in an exploitive phase towards the Midwest, allied with illegal aliens who are not even bad people, but who they are openly propagandizing and using, who are already in the Midwest. They are going to exploit that and bring down the Midwest. And then when everybody leaves places like Chicago and San Francisco and other areas, they're going to buy it up for pennies on the dollar once those real estate bubbles finally pop. So this is all very well and very, very skillfully engineered. And so just as they do it with nations, they do it with counties, with cities, with states, and that's what's happening. So when you look at the police chief of places like Portland, who seems like a nice person, saying, I've never seen so much feces. There's piles of it. No one's even picking it up. There's just mental illness everywhere. People trying to kill cops. Antifa running around. What have we become? We need to stop this. Why are you doing this? We used to be a great city. San Francisco, same way. All their big medical stuff's getting canceled. It's all over the news. All these big conferences every week. People won't go to them anymore because there's just mentally ill, schizophrenic meth heads everywhere running around screaming, Hail Satan. And the very same people then literally go down and do story time at the local public schools dressed up like women. I'm talking about homeless men with lice all over them, crapping on themselves, go and then do story time for your children. And yet you go, that sounds insane, but it's true. It's the most evil thing they can do, the most bizarre thing. If they can make you worship a homeless man in a leather skirt with feces running down his legs, wearing a purple wig, saying, I'm a transgender to your children, you will put up with anything. Just like they have NAMBLA now openly pushing pushing child sex education and saying it's normal. You've got all these sex education people and all these exploited children experts being caught having sex with children and trying to rape 2-year-old babies. It's in the news every day. This is a cult of pure 1,000% evil, because the Tavistock Institute, the CIA, the leftist arms of it, was declassified 20 years ago. You can just type in CIA-funded ugly art, ugly buildings, ugly housing, ugly culture. And you say, why would they do that? Why is the weapons system a schizophrenic meth head with lice all over him defecating everywhere? Because if they can do that, they can run everybody out of the area and take full control and then pose as the saviors and get more funding for sex changes and more funding for psych wards and more funding for their medical systems they set up that are actually giant weaponized systems meant to break down the family, the culture, and the society. So they create the crisis to offer the solution. And that's only one facet. But notice they say, come here, break down the borders. Latin America's collapsing. Same globalists did that. Venezuela's had 4 million people just the last year flee north. Many of them are getting here. And they're saying, it's all free. Come to El Norte. It's all free. And then once you get here, you're going to be communist. And you're going to help overthrow America. And you're going to follow Congresswoman Cortez, who says occupy and overthrow the government. This is the plan. This is the program. And Trump and others and myself, we're just saying we're not going to be part of this. We're not going to do this. We're not going to sit there and let this continue and let them put all of this right in our face, on national news, showing 2-year-old children putting $10 bills in the G-strings of fat, obese men wearing purple wigs, shaking their butts in children's faces. I mean, and you say, why is this all over the news? Because this is the weaponization. If you can have 2-year-olds putting $10 bills in G-strings of fat men wearing purple wigs, you can do anything. They are psychologically attacking us. And the poor mentally ill people they used to do all this, they're not even the enemy. They are people that have been spiritually taken over. We'll be right back with Critical Intel. When Mark Zuckerberg makes a statement, it's usually one of the top news stories in the world. And he came out yesterday and made statements about Alex Jones, yours truly, and InfoWars. And then the media dutifully took what he said and twisted it. And then today, Fox News and CNN are saying Mark Zuckerberg defends Alex Jones's Holocaust denial statements. A perfect example of fake news. A perfect example of the hearings they had 2 days ago for 7 hours, most of the hearings about me, saying that I said no one died at Parkland. Now, even if I said no one died at Parkland, which I didn't say, I would have a right to say that, wouldn't I? Somebody could sue me, and then if it's true, they can win a judgment. But if it's not, I have anti-slapback, and I have to sue them, which, unfortunately, to maintain my rights, I have to sue them. The media is going to spin that Alex Jones is, suing the Sandy Hook survivors. But notice they haven't even covered that I've already filed anti-slapback provisions. It's just amazing. But yes, I'm having to sue people because they keep saying stuff I didn't say. And I'm having to sue other folks as well. And I put people on notice, but these big banks and these big media companies, they don't care if they lose a judgment against me. They're going to keep doing it because they're in a war. Just like they say President Trump hates all Mexicans and says they're all criminals and rapists. Never said any such thing. He said, you've got a lot of criminals coming across, some of them murderers, some of them rapists, some of them criminals. So this is how they deceive. Now, I got a lot of calls yesterday, and I talked to a few of the media, and I said I did not say that, and of course none of them ran with it. So I have been completely silenced, except for my radio show and TV show, Infowars.com. I have no way to respond to their constant intensifying lies. And again, why are they doing it? That's the answer to everything. Forget Alex Jones. By understanding this is meant to shut your speech down. But what is it I'm saying it scares them? The globalists have taken control of the media. The globalists want you poor. The globalists are controlled and mainly financed by communist China that openly owns most of Hollywood, a lot of the media. The big universities are under their control. Congressional hearings on that. Office of Personnel Management hack was for them to compromise the whole country. We've been sold out. And it's incredible. And I'm here saying the mainstream media is the enemy of the American people. They're globalist. They changed the subject with Putin because that distracts us away from the real enemy, the Chi-Coms. So I told some of my own people last night when they said, why do you think Zuckerberg's defending your free speech in this lynch mob coming against you? I said he's not. It's a false dichotomy of good cop, bad cop. he's coming out saying, oh, people even deny the Holocaust. I don't agree with it, but they have a right to do it, which is the First Amendment. So you can give him that. But then it gives him already ratcheting back 80-90% of all conservative content just out of the gates, governed back, choked back to nothing. This cover like that's free speech. Oh, we're just smothering you. We let you have one gasp of air a minute. You know, it's going to give you a heart attack, but it's okay. Sure, we're slowly killing you, but at least we don't totally ban you. No, we'll have standing if they totally ban us, and then we'll have to go build our own platforms, which we should have done years ago, like Matt Drudge said. I did build my platforms. That's another reason they're after us, is because they can't stand that they've silenced everybody else but President Trump and me, and Drudge and a few others. And that's why in the hearings they were lying about Breitbart and saying Breitbart had done things Breitbart never did. That's why you see all this stuff going on, because they don't like anybody having a voice that's just a common sense, capitalist, pro-America person, because comparing that to San Francisco lunacy and Dianne Feinstein and Maxine Waters and all these loon bags. But think about it. Nowhere in the news, thousands of articles about Zuckerberg's statements, cover the New York Times, Politico, everywhere with their false headlines. Where's Alex Jones? Where am I in the hearing to face my accusers for 7 hours that lied about me? Well, they couldn't have me there because I'd have said those strikes on my YouTube were taken back. They admitted that I did not say nobody died there. But I would have had a right to say that even if I was crazy. But I didn't. They couldn't have me there because I would have destroyed them in 10 seconds. I'd have said, Mr. Chairman, please ask the head of YouTube right here if my strikes were taken off. Because she knows full well there were, because she gave a statement to Bloomberg saying we had a mutiny inside the company. The Southern Poverty Law Center people we hired, they took down thousands of sites, including Alex Jones, and he didn't do what they said. That woman is quoted in newspapers. She knew full well when she sat there and lied to them and said, oh, we did take down Alex Jones for saying that. So she went along with it. I don't want to be that lady's enemy. I don't want to be Zuckerberg's enemy. But I'm not going to sit here and be played by these people. I'm not stupid. Oh, how nice of Zuckerberg, his backhanded attack. Zuckerberg defends allowing InfoWars Holocaust deniers on Facebook. The average idiot reads that, and what do they get? Then the media translates it to I'm a Holocaust denier by today. That's how they're coming after Trump. It's how they're coming after me. It's how they're going to come after you. So I'm honored to be in this position of standing with America against this. Facebook CEO Mark Zuckerberg defended the social media platform's decision not to kick off conspiracy theory peddling websites like far-right InfoWars, saying in an interview released Wednesday that doing so would violate Facebook's commitment to being an open platform. So he's hanging this on, oh, we don't have prior restraint because he knows under law he'd get in trouble. But they already have prior restraint. They already moderate it. They already govern it. They already cut it back. The company has faced mounting criticism over the past week for allowing Alex Jones-led site, a known purveyor of misinformation. These people just say that. That's defamation. About issues like Sandy Hook Massacre and Pizzagate to remain on the platform. No, the media hyped questions about Sandy Hook and about Pizzagate to divert off of other issues. Then when we debated what they were saying, they then said that we were the progenitors of it. They're the ones constantly saying, I said nobody died at Sandy Hook or Parkland. See how they work? For years I've said, look, I looked at both sides, but they're taken out of context. I think people died there. And I apologize it was taken out of context to the families. Then I get to see the families, everybody on TV every week going, Jones attacked us again today, and he won't stop, and we're really tired of it. Please, Alex, stop attacking us. And it's the mainstream media bringing it up over and over and over and over again. The company has faced mounting criticism. And then it goes on from there. Democrats grilled Facebook officials over the choice of House Judiciary Committee hearing on Tuesday. And then it goes on. Zuckerberg responded to the criticism during an interview with Recode. Look, as abhorrent as some of the content can be, I do think that it gets down to the principle of giving people a voice, the Facebook CEO said. Zuckerberg said that instead of banning websites outright, the company removes individual posts that violate Facebook's terms of service. Posts promoting violence are particularly likely to be taken down, he added, which we're not doing. Zuckerberg, who is Jewish, said that even Holocaust deniers have a place on the platform as long as they genuinely believe the content they share. I find it deeply offensive, he said, but at the end of the day, I don't believe that our platform should be taken down because I think there are different things and different people get wrong. I don't think they're intentionally getting it wrong. So then they get to basically act like I'm saying that when I'm not, and then put out this disinfo to make it look like the other side calling for total censorship is right because we're all a bunch of Holocaust deniers. And that's how it started in Germany. It's the same formula. Ban Holocaust denial. Then ban being in a nationalist party. Then ban reporting on Muslim crime. Then ban mothers and fathers saying they're mothers and fathers on school entry forms because the word mother or father is hateful. This is already happening. This is the plan where if anybody finds something offensive, it's banned. And we're being walked into this false dichotomy, into this false debate. Now, finally, I need to say this because I never plug like I should. We are winning, but barely. And they are really trying to block us. And if listeners want to help us defeat these globalists, it is so critical that they go to InfoWarsStore.com. Look at the history that's happening, the congressional hearings, Zuckerberg, the globalist. We are seen as Trump's booster. We're seen as Trump's guard dog. We're seen as the engine of the resurgence of America, because we are, you, the audience, symbiotically. The economy we've created, the interface we've created, the system we've created of rebooting America is so sexy and so real and so amazing. They have to close our restaurant. It's like we're a restaurant. Our food's so good. What we're promoting is so honest and so decent and so real, they can't have it operating. Because it shows what a fraud they are. They have to have us shut down. That's why when you buy the products, you get great products, you get great prices. Everybody needs air filtration. We've got the best, lowest price. Everybody needs water filtration. We've got the best, great price. We've got incredible non-GMO heirloom seeds, widest selection. We've got shortwave radios, tactical gear, great Patriot apparel, amazing supplements. Get in there every day and check out the products. Take advantage of store-wide free shipping. I brought back the biggest super sale, the anti-globalist, pro-free speech mega sale right now. Stop their attempt to shut us down. We need to bring in a lot of money, folks, just to continue on and to expand in their face. Because if we don't expand, they're winning. And quite frankly, I don't want to give them any encouragement, but we need your support, ladies and gentlemen. We are under attack. We're not complaining about it, but we're running out of ammo here, and we're on the hill fighting hard, okay? And InfoWarsStore.com. InfoWarsLive.com or 888-253-3139. Up to 67% off of the store. 50% is the average. Take advantage of it. Hour number 2 with Owen Schroyer and myself straight ahead. All right, final segment with me here today. And then we've got Dr. Jerome Corsi coming on about the $400 million and the real collusion with the State Department laundering money into Russia. In anti-Russia operations and laundering it reportedly back to Hillary and her campaign. It's a famous tactic that's coming up. We're also going to have John Rappaport on getting into all these subjects and probably open the phones up. I think you probably should open the phones up for people to respond. But InfoWars is now the center of attention along with President Trump. And why is that? It's because we're saying the truth. We're saying the kryptonite to the globalists. We're saying the coffin nails to their tyranny, high noon to a vampire, that the globalists are Chinese communist funded, that they want to implode America and make us dependent and domesticated, that they're working with Hollywood, the unelected EU, radical Islam is being used as their third world weapon to collapse our borders and bring down our sovereignty. It's all admitted, and we're pointing out that CNN and MSNBC are owned by the big multinational corporations that are these powerful combines with China and others in the one world, new world order system that our own robber barons and British robber barons in the last 60, 70 years set up. And this is in Carol Quigley's Strategy and Hope. And Brzezinski wrote books about it. I'm just telling you what the establishment said they were building. People ask, how did I 25 years ago know all this stuff and predicted how it all came true? Because I read the white papers. I read the books. We sell some of the books written by them at InfoWarsStore.com. So, ladies and gentlemen, they are coming after us in congressional hearings and calling us Holocaust deniers with no proof and all this stuff because they're scared of us, because they're the globalists, they're the traitors. They sold out to the unlimited money of the Federal Reserve and the fiat system. And I'm not going to sell out Christianity. I'm not going to sell out the unborn. I'm not going to sell out free market. I'm not going to sell out to a global elite that are going to hurt people and dumb people down and enslave them. So everyone has a choice to make right now which side they're on. This is historic. And everybody's got to really look themselves in the eye and say, wow, why are they saying Trump's a traitor and the military needs to take him out in Congress? Why are the Republican cowards rolling over and joining in the chorus? Because they're cowards. They are on the wrong side of history. They've been winning so long against America and Christians and others because we were asleep. They think if they just intimidate us or get in our face or threaten us, that we'll get back in line. We're never getting back in line. You can't defeat 3% in any revolutionary war that won't give up. You cannot defeat us. We're way more than 3%. We're more like 10% that are hardcore. Another 20, 30% get it to a certain extent. And that's the enemy's own numbers. We are winning. But bottom line, folks, InfoWars needs your prayers. We need your financial support. We need you to go to InfoWarsStore.com. We have some of the biggest sales ever. 67% off the biggest deal, 50% off the average sale, free shipping store-wide. You need Alexa Pure Breeze air filtration 4-stage. Very best out there for the price. Comparable units are $500, $600. It's $200. You can't beat it. Water filtration, whatever is the best, highest rated at a great price. Alexa Pure, Pro Pure, we carry it. You need that in your family. You need that at your shop. You need that at your police station. You need that in your church. You need to fund InfoWars while you get reciprocal trade of high-quality products, a total 360 non-zero sum game win. So I didn't really plug a lot last hour, so I just wanted to put it out there again that it is so critical, everybody listening to me right now, to choose which side of history you're on, but whatever you do, you may not have a, pot to piss in, that's fine. The biggest thing you can do is Infowars.com, Newswars.com. Share it by hand. Put it on business cards. Write it on the wall. Whatever you got to do to get the info out, we are going to win because Infowars is verboten, because we have the answer. We can bring down the globalist. We know the truth. We're rebooting Americana. We're rebooting free market, common sense. We love God. We love you. We love justice. We have goodwill. And you hear that all from Trump, and you see it in his actions, and that's why evil is so incredibly upset. So please, whatever you do, get involved in the fight now more than ever. I salute all of you that have helped us and taken action over the years. Without you, we are nothing. All right, back to the crew and Owen Schroyer. Now spread those live links to Facebook, YouTube, and Twitter.
All right, taking over the captain seat now for Alex Jones and about to be joined by John Rappaport from NoMoreFakeNews.com. Now, I've got stacks of news on my desk. I've got video clips that I need to get to. I hope I can get to all of them. It's just crazy because you have, let me tell you the biggest difference between what we do here at InfoWars and what every other news outlet does. And we're going to have the clip before the show is over. Even Fox News will say things about Alex Jones and InfoWars, and they won't play a clip. We play the clips. We read their stories. We pull their quotes. We go to them for the source, and then we respond. They make claims about us, never cite anything, never play the clips, never show the stories. They just make baseless claims, whether they believe it or not. I mean, I don't know. They report on it. And this is why John Rappaport started NoMoreFakeNews.com years ago. John, I have a new analogy for what InfoWars is when it comes to news and just news outlets. InfoWars is the Hulk of news media, where the more they attack us, the more angrier they make us, the bigger and stronger and more powerful they get. And they haven't realized that yet. So keep attacking us, keep demonizing us. In fact, I know that some of the crew's probably listening. We should probably put out a meme of InfoWars being the Hulk and just getting bigger and stronger every time they attack us. But John Rappaport, what do you make? I mean, for example, where they say, Trump's colluding with Putin. Look at Trump. He's the bad guy. Russian hacking, Russian meddling. Obama was warned about this in 2014 and 2016. Stood down. That's a direct quote from his officials. Stand down. And yet the fake news can still report as if that never happened. So, John Rappaport, what do you make of the state of the news media in America right now?
Bought off, I would say, completely. I've been going back and forth on this because I know a lot of mainstream reporters over the years that I've worked as an independent reporter. And for the most part, I used to think that they were dumb. They were smart enough to know what lines they weren't supposed to cross, but otherwise not very curious, not interested in digging down. Now I'm seeing something else completely. This is an agenda. This is a plan. This is money. This is George Soros. This is people being bought off. to say not only that Trump is a bad guy, not only to say that he colluded with Russia, not only to say that that this is he was never really elected, but to say that violence should be visited upon him, that it's okay. For example, I don't know whether you guys have flashed current New Yorker cover on the screen.
You know what? I don't think we have covered that yet. I have the tweet from Judge right here. He says the left's continued fetish for Trump's physical harm / death is stunning. You know, and they make it look like, oh, he's falling down the stairs here. But the way they have the red tie, you know, that could easily be, you know, oh, is that a pool of blood? You know?
Yeah, exactly. And it looks like he's been shot, okay? Assassinated. This was on the cover of the New Yorker, recent, you know, current edition. And of course, they give this explanation. Okay, well, we're just talking about the fact that he came down the escalator when he announced that he was going to run for president. And this is a metaphorical picture of what happened after his disastrous meeting with Putin, blah, blah, blah. But no, it's not. You know, to anybody with any sense looking at this in this media atmosphere that everybody is swimming in and sucking air in. This is another version of, hey, if Trump dies, that's okay. If Trump is killed, that's, well, you know, that's the way it goes. And that's just the light stuff. All of this is part of a plan. This is not just accidental. People in the media who were formerly just being nasty and critical are now emerging with Trump should be assassinated.
Well, they came out and said that pretty much immediately after he was elected. I mean, you had Madonna saying, let's blow up the White House. Johnny Depp saying, when was the last time an actor killed the president? Snoop Dogg depicting an assassination. The one ugly man, woman, Chucky child that had the decapitated Trump head. So it's really nothing new. It just continues.
Well, the thing that I find that's new about it is the willingness, first of all, the willingness of the media to give space to these stories as if they're really legitimate news stories. And secondly, for some of these supposedly objective news people themselves to come forth and in some kind of smirking fashion indicate that they kind of think it's okay if somebody kills Trump too.
Yeah, it's kind of like numbing them to it. So it's like when it happens, you know, they won't feel bad. They've already been numb to it. The thought has already reached their consciousness stream. So then it's just like, oh, he's dead. Yeah, you know, cool. Let's even celebrate that. But this is like 1984 level brainwashing, John, where last night MoveOn.org hosted an event. They live streamed the whole thing. I actually rebroadcasted it and responded it in real time. Some people enjoyed my improv comedy. Some people thought I was a hack. But either way, they're talking about, they say Trump is destroying the country. Trump is destroying us. Trump is rebuilding. I've got another record right here. U.S. oil production hits record first at 11 million barrels a day. So you've got record confidence in the housing market, record stock market, record jobs growth, just record, building. And then what do they say? Trump's destroying the country. So destroying is now building and building is now destroying. That's literally right out of 1984. We've got Alex Jones who wants to pop in on the conversation here. Guys, let's pop Alex up.
I just wanted to just call in for a minute or two because I'm listening to you and John here along with my family. And I just wanted to back up what he's saying. It is new that they've gotten rid of just the dumbos and brought in operatives and deep staters. Most of them have intelligence agency backgrounds. And Phil Mudd, former deputy director of FBI and CIA, is on TV again this week saying the military needs to take out Trump. He needs to be dealt with. You've got Congressman Cohen saying military coup. So, yes, they are laying the groundwork for normalization to kill the president and to intimidate him and his family. And that meanwhile, his daughter's out saying we need a pro-human future, not one of robots. Let's build a future where we still have workers. Trump is for real, folks. That's why they're so scared. That's why things are turning around. So I just wanted to back up what he's saying is this is criminal. This is going on because these people have committed crimes. They're backed up by the communist Chinese. And Tucker Carlson finally brought that up the other night. China owns our debt. China owns Hollywood now. China is in control of most of the universities. That's admitted. That's the real threat. They're scared. They've committed espionage. They believe the CFR, the Chinese century. They sold us out. They were on the anti-American bandwagon. That's why it's in all their own internal documents. That's why people like Bill Maher is betting against America and hopes we go bankrupt because they really are traitors and they're the enemy, and that's why they keep saying we are. Back to you guys. Great job. I really appreciate the work of NoMoreFakeNews.com and John Rappaport. Remember, folks, share those links. Subscribe to the podcast. Get the new free app, Infowars.com/app, Infowars Official. If people are really ready to hear the truth, the Streisand effect right now, hey, this is the forbidden. This is the verboten. They don't want you to hear Alex Jones. Just say, tune in for yourself and see what he's really saying, why they're having congressional hearings. I know you're a media analyst, Rappaport. I want to get your take when we come back. I'll be listening about why you think they're honing in on us so much and why they're so afraid. Back to you guys. Sorry to interrupt.
So we'll be getting John Rappaport's opinion on that in the next segment. And I just want to put a bow on what Alex was just saying. I had actually I guess it was 2 days ago, I had a conversation with Alex about this exact thing. And I said, look, Alex, I think they're going to kill him. I think straight up they're going to kill Donald Trump. They want him dead, and he's not going to stop fighting them. I think that they're going to assassinate President Trump. And then you see the New Yorker and everything else and Phil Mudd. And we went down the road in this conversation. He said, you know what, though, Owen? Even if they kill him, he still wins. Even if they strike him down, he becomes more powerful than ever. So they don't know what to do. We have them against the ropes. We just have to keep fighting and keep punching politically. And if the red wave wins, it's over. All you have to do is ask yourself, what would the response be like in the media had somebody depicted Barack Hussein Obama's assassination as many times as President Trump's assassination has been depicted? This is, of course, at the same time. They say when they go low, we go high. I guess that means they get so high on ketamine that they imagine Donald Trump being assassinated over and over in their head. We've got a clip coming up here of Fox News even now, and I'm not saying Fox News is our enemy, but the clips now of them even attacking us. And so Alex wanted to get John Rappaport's take on this from NoMoreFakeNews.com. John, why do you think InfoWars is at the center of the crosshairs right now when it comes to real media being under attack?
Issues. One is globalism, and the other is also connected, which is the immigration issue. These are two major powder kegs. The media assumed that Hillary Clinton was going to win the election, and then it was going to be one giant, wonderful, fascist scum global village for all. That everything would sink into a kind of collective oblivion for the entire planet after 8 years of her, after Obama. And that, the media would be complicit as always, and then all of a sudden on election night something happened, and it wasn't that way at all. And this guy out of nowhere named Trump, whatever you think of him, and I don't care what anybody thinks of him, one way or another, what was he talking about? He was talking about destroying globalism, especially on issues of trade. He was talking about nationalism, which is like the silver bullet to vampires or werewolves. And he was talking about a ceiling on immigration, which any sensible person would understand, purely from the point of view of what does it cost governments all over the world to have open borders? In other words, ask a so-called liberal anytime, what is your top limit on immigration? You must have a number, after which you'll be satisfied, right? And then it turns out, no, you're wrong. No, these lunatics are saying there is no number, there is no country, there is no border, there is no law, there is no anything. And that's their platform. That's what they're aiming for. this is an operation of chaos to bring on what would be a major global security action in the middle of chaos to install a puppet kind of dictatorship over the entire planet.
So it's
called
because
globalism.
it's because we've been so anti-globalist, because we've been so pro-America.
Yeah.
That's why.
Yeah.
And now we
Yeah.
now we have the president in the United States that echoes the same sentiments. So, but let's, John, I want to get your response to this video clip. Let's now go to, this was Fox News today, going along with the next phase, I guess, in this attack of InfoWars. One, you group us in with Holocaust deniers. You don't originally call us Holocaust deniers, but you group us in with the Holocaust deniers. Then you go down to the next step, and now we are Holocaust deniers. Let's go to now even Fox News wanting to attack InfoWars.
Facebook in the hot seat again. Mark Zuckerberg is now trying to clarify comments he made about Holocaust deniers. The CEO now saying in a post, if a post crossed a line, it would be removed. But that is a little different from what we heard him say earlier. Listen.
I don't believe that our platform should take that down, because I think that there are things that different people get wrong. I don't think that they're intentionally getting it wrong, but I think it's hard to impute intent and to understand the intent.
Fox News Headlines 24/7 reporter Carly Shimkus joins me now. Carly, this is an incredibly complicated story, and Mark Zuckerberg himself does not seem to have figured out how to go about this.
You're right. It's almost like they're kind of learning as they go along. Now, Facebook has been facing a lot of difficult questions, a lot of tough questions over why they haven't deleted controversial conspiracy theory websites from their site. Now, right now, the policy that they have implemented is that they will delete individual controversial posts, but they will allow the source to remain on the site, like InfoWars, as long as they are not expressing violence in those posts. Those posts will then be deleted. A lot of people say that InfoWars does do that. Mark Zuckerberg faced a lot of questions for what he said, because he said that these people don't intentionally get it wrong. Many of those say that, yes, exactly, that's exactly what they're trying to do.
He's really coming under fire for a lot of this, forcing him to respond. And in his clarification, he says, I personally find Holocaust denial deeply offensive, and I absolutely did not intend to defend the intent of people who deny that.
That's right. Well, another important point to make is that Mark Zuckerberg himself is Jewish. I think that what is really important to him, of course, is freedom of speech, and that is a very good thing, of course. But it gets confusing because Mark Zuckerberg says he doesn't want to decide what is wrong and what is right, but at the same time, they are fighting this ongoing battle with fake news. So what we're seeing unfold right now is that they don't really know what to do here in these tough issues.
Yeah, they want to ban us, but they don't want to be outright against the First
Amendment. In the
Amendment.
best interest of his shareholders and making money, and he has the confidence to shore up of his users, that's for sure. Thank you very much.
All right, so you know what? Look, I'll be honest. Maybe I was a little too hard on them, and they didn't really come out and attack InfoWars. But the point is, but that's it, though. It is all about InfoWars. We're the ones that are effective. We're the ones that are influencing all of these other smaller channels that are liberty-based, free thought-based, free speech-based, and that now they're getting a big audience too. So we're having an impact. So they're like, okay, we have to stop this at the head. That's why InfoWars is the target. John Rappaport.
Yeah. I almost fell asleep during that Fox segment, by the way.
Really riveting stuff, right?
Oh, yeah. I mean, boy, just
But that's what, but they said, John, we're going to break it down.
They just kept throwing in InfoWars here, InfoWars there, InfoWars here. No context, no nothing. Yeah. All these, let's look, all these media outlets, they look at InfoWars numbers, they look at their own numbers, and their blood begins to boil because they're losing. InfoWars is winning along with other independent media outlets, and they don't know what to do. What are they going to do? Except maybe decide that, let's have an assassination special tonight where we'll have 16 reporters on saying, let's kill Trump. Let's kill Trump. And maybe that will raise our numbers up higher. You know what? Here's
the thing. I got a clue and a hint. And Fox News kind of gets this. Look, again, that's why I don't attack Fox News. I don't think they're the biggest enemy. I understand that there's people over there that are full of it, people over there that hate us. But honestly, like the trick, John, and some of them are starting to get this, like, I can't even believe Tucker Carlson is on air, honestly, at some of his shows. The trick is to be more like InfoWars. That's the trick. That's how you get more audience. That's how you get more viewers. People think like we think. Those are the people that are looking for news these days. So, but that's why they just sit there and they do these milquetoast segments like the last one. That's not hard hitting. People want the hard hitting. They want to know what's really going on. We'll be right back with more from Jon Rappoport. So we've been talking about the fake news with Jon Rappoport, but I've got another story that's right up his alley. But first, I wanna get a good laugh here with Jon Rappoport from NoMoreFakeNews.com. Jon, there is a Major League Baseball player, Josh Hader. He is a pitcher for the Milwaukee Brewers. And when he was a teenager in high school, apparently he tweeted something that was, well, a little insensitive. So the MLB is now ordering the Major League pitcher, Josh Hader, to go to sensitivity training. This is now our reality, Jon. If you tweeted something insensitive, you need to go to sensitivity training. So, Jon, I'm going to send over the sensitivity training officials to your house. I think that you need some sensitivity training, Jon. You're just too insensitive.
I agree, and it's getting worse. My condition is not improving in any way. I mean, I'm becoming. I know we have to do something about this immediately. Yeah, and it's all your fault too. By the way,
we're gonna have you. No. See, this is typical insensitive person right here trying to blame somebody else. Don't worry, we're gonna train this out of you.
Okay, well, I need it as fast as possible because I'm afraid that I might do something dangerous. Now, for example, let me show you how insensitive I really am. Listen to this quote, which you won't find, by the way, folks, all you millions of people here, you're not going to find this quote on any other news outlet of any prominence in the world. Here it is. In 2016 alone, the Obama administration dropped at least 26,171 bombs. This means that every day last year, meaning 2016, the U.S. military blasted combatants or civilians overseas with 72 bombs. That's 3 bombs every hour, 24 hours a day.
Is that why he's Barack Obama?
Obama, exactly my point. This is the revelation. And this comes from The Guardian newspaper in England, which is one of the most, left-wing liberal news outlets. And there it is. You guys are incredible. I don't know how you do this. You just pop it right up.
The crew's amazing.
Yeah. So there you have it. Okay. This is the kind of thing that you're not going to find on CNN or Fox.
Wait a second. Whoa. Which Hussein dropped more bombs, Saddam Hussein or Barack Hussein?
Well, Saddam Hussein was gone by 2016. I don't think there's any question that I would have to bet on Barack Hussein as having dropped more, because in 2016 dropped at least 26,171. Now, suppose this became a major story on MSNBC and CNN and so forth. This discovery, blah, blah, blah. Chris Matthews, my God, I don't know what to say. The tingle is gone from my leg.
Chris Matthews.
Man, look at this. Obama just revealed here. Forget what Trump said to Putin or Putin said to Trump or whether Trump had to apologize or whatever. No, let's forget about he said, they said. Let's look at a couple of facts here. In 2016, Obama dropped 26,000 bombs, actually bombs. Obama.
Oh, and by the way, and the list of all the countries that he was bombing was the list that he originated as the travel ban, which then they called Trump's Muslim ban. So it was Obama's travel ban because he was bombing those countries. Then Trump gets in and it becomes Trump's Muslim ban. But just while we're on Obama, and then I want to get your take on another story here. This is all coming out. I'm actually going to highlight this in the next segment. But Obama was warned in 2014 and 2016 about the quote-unquote Russian interference. We have the C-SPAN videos. We have the hearings. His own officials said, quote, Obama said, stand down. So it's just like the children at cages, the separation of families. It's just like everything. It all can be led back to Obama. It's really unbelievable. But, You can respond to that. Or, John, this story is right up your alley. There was a story from pewtrust.org today. These pills could be the next U.S. drug epidemic. Public health officials say they're talking about anti-anxiety pills, things such as Xanax, Valium, Ativan, Klonopin, etc. The next drug epidemic, of course, the opiates are the current drug epidemic, but they're saying these anti-anxiety pills could be the next. I don't know if it's fair to say the next, John. I think that you know the numbers and the facts here. I think it already is.
Yeah. These drugs like Xanax, for example, have been the epidemic for the last, 20 years. I mean, it just gets bigger and bigger and bigger.
And by the way, those are the drug companies that fueled news outlets like CNN and MSNBC. Go ahead.
Yeah, that's right. That's a major point, Owen, because these pharmaceutical companies, in a sense, own the news outlets. So therefore, they control the news. And what they want as news is news, and what they don't want is not news. Meanwhile, they're poisoning populations. They're eating out America from the inside. You want to find out what globalism is really all about at the core, you look at the medical cartel, the Rockefeller brand of medicine, which is the most toxic ever devised on the planet. And what they're talking about, I don't know who these people are at the Pew Trust that are just waking up from their own delirium. I don't know what pills they've been taking.
Well, they just ratcheted the Xanax bars down.
Yeah, they just woke up to the fact
they're alive again.
Yeah, that these pills have been destroying people's lives for at least the last 30 or 40 years, and it isn't getting better, it's getting worse. And this is part of what it means to make America livable again, is for people to be able to walk away from these drugs and put their lives back together in terms of natural health and what health is actually all about, not these incredible drugs that, because people are not just taking these for a week in an acute crisis, they're getting prescribed these drugs for years and years and decades, and it's destroying populations.
Well, and it's actually incredible. I don't know when this whole phase started, but I remember being in high school and college, and it was like pop culture. It was like a thing. You heard it in rap songs and everything. Get barred out. They had a bunch of different nicknames for it, like buses and stuff like that. I was never into any sort of pharmaceutical drugs. Honestly, I thank God that I never went down that road as some of my friends did. But you can see it in real time when they're high on these drugs, which I don't know. It's like, honestly, the crazy thing, too, about it, John, is they're so prevalent. These are supposedly prescription drugs that should be hard to get, but they're so prevalent where you have large groups of people getting high on these things every day. It's like, how is that even possible?
The obvious answer is that the pharmaceutical companies are actually trafficking, which has been already proven in the area of opioids with Purdue Pharma and other companies. They're not just selling to pharmacies, to doctors, to patients who are in severe pain. They're trafficking millions of pills to dealers. And under Obama, here we go again, 2016, a law was passed, almost unanimously voted on by Congress, that hamstrung the DEA from being able to walk into a major pharmaceutical company and say, we know you're trafficking. We know which shipments you're sending out that are not legitimate. We're freezing the shipments, we're busting your ass, and we're going to put you on trial and send you to prison. That is now very, 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 very difficult to do for the DEA.
Oh, but wait, John, we warned them. We said in the things, in the fine print, in the commercials, warning, could cause brain damage and suicidal thoughts and all that good stuff. We warned them, John.
Yeah, wait a minute. Let's see. Hold on. Can I find that small? No, my magnifying glass isn't big enough to actually find the small print.
Can you find that small print for us, John?
Please. I don't know. Somebody will have to bring that up.
All right, we're going to get the fine print for John, but John Rappaport from No More Fake News, he's about to leave us. John, we're sending the sensitivity team over to your place. We're taking you to sensitivity training. You're too insensitive, John. We cannot handle your website, nomorefakenews.com. We cannot handle it. Let's really look at how fake most television news is. Let's really analyze how fake the Democrats and the left-wing media have become. Hillary Clinton is going to win the election. It's over. It's not even close. Oops, wrong. Trump colluded with Russia. That's how he won the election. Oops, no, it's Hillary Clinton that colluded with the Russians. On so many different fronts, like it's absurd. Whether it be Uranium One, whether it be hundreds of millions of dollars to the Clinton Foundation, whether it be $500,000 to Bill Clinton for a speech, whether it be the dossier that the Clinton campaign paid for that came from 5 Russian intelligence sources. That's all the proof of Hillary Clinton colluding with Russia. Where is the evidence of Trump doing it? None. How about Trump's travel ban? They say it's a Muslim ban. It was started by Obama as a travel ban from the countries he bombed, but somehow it becomes Trump's Muslim ban. Separating kids at the border. Trump, he's separating kids at the border. Look at how heartless he is. No, this is a practice that is law that's been going on for decades. And if you want to know the truth of it, the children are separated from their parents in their home countries, and they send them here. There's no parents when they even get here. But Trump separating kids at the border. Trump putting kids in cages. Oops, you find out that the photo that originated that headline was from the Obama administration. And it just goes on and on and on and on and on. There's 100 different examples. The latest, though, has to be the Russian hacking or the Russian meddling in the election. It's all Trump's fault. He's out of control. How dare he say that America's to blame for this? But wait. If Russia is really trying to influence and hack our elections, why did the Obama administration stand down? And just one step further, and then I'll retreat. If we're really so afraid about Russia meddling in our elections, why are we having open voter registration for non-citizens? If Russia wanted to meddle in our elections, they could send 1 million Russians to California to vote, and then it'd be game over. They could send 1 million to Texas, and it'd be game over. So if you're really worried about Russian meddling in our elections, why do you have non-citizens voting? So there's no rhyme or reason to it. But to go back to my point, why did the Obama administration stand down? Oh, let me guess. CNN, MSNBC, and the Washington Post, New York Times are going to say, I'm a conspiracy theorist. Look at InfoWars saying, look at InfoWars saying that California wants to have non-citizens vote. No, that's a fact. They're coming out and saying it now. And they even have ads with Michelle Obama and a bunch of other liberals in Hollywood and everything like, oh, yeah, get out and vote. The democracy is at a threat. Like everyone agrees with them. No, people are going to get out and vote for the Republicans and Trump. You don't even get how you're losing yet. Oh, but InfoWars is a conspiracy theorist saying that the Obama administration ordered a stand down. The Obama administration ordered a stand down, according to InfoWars conspiracy theorist. Well, unlike everyone else that attacks InfoWars and Alex Jones that doesn't play the clips, I'm going to play you the clips. Let's go to C-SPAN. This is from June of this year. This is from June of this year. The Obama official admitting Obama ordered a stand down on Russian hacking.
This is a question I have for you, Mr. Daniel, and this puzzles me. There's a quote I want to read you from an article that appeared of what happened in late August of 2016. At his morning staff meeting, Daniel matter-of-factly said to his team, it had to stop working on options to counter the Russian attack. Quote, we've been told to stand down. That's a quote from you. Daniel Preto, one of Daniel's top deputies, recalled, quote, I was incredulous and in disbelief. It took me a moment to process. In my head, I was like, did I hear that correctly? End quote. Then Preto asked, quote, why the hell are we standing down? Michael, can you help us understand? Question mark, end quote. Is that an accurate description of what happened?
So that is an accurate rendering of the conversation at the staff meeting, but the larger context is something that we can discuss in the classified session. But I can say that there were many concerns about the widespread, how many people were involved in the development of the options, and so the decision at that point was to neck down the number of people that were involved in developing our ongoing response options. And it's not accurate to say that all activity ceased at that point.
So that's strange. So Russian meddling, Russian hacking, the biggest story. Oh my gosh, we have to impeach Trump over it. Obama didn't seem to care that much. Let's now go to a clip of former DHS Secretary Jeh Johnson on MSNBC, once again saying this can come right back to the Obama administration standing down.
When it comes to superpowers, we all tend to behave the same way. If you make something cost prohibitive, then you deter the actor from doing it again. And we've yet to do that when it comes to the Russian government. We've yet to say to them, hey, don't do this or else. We began that in the closing days of the Obama administration, but it's really up to this current administration to follow through on a lot of those actions.
I've asked you this before, so I know the answer. Will Russia try to interfere again? The answer from you has always been yes.
I'm very concerned that in the midterms, in the 2020 election, we could see Russian influence because basically they've been given very little reason to stop.
So there's Jeh Johnson. Well, Russian influence is a big problem here. We stood down on it, but Trump shouldn't. You go back to the Obama official. Yes, we have here quotes saying that Obama said stand down on the Russian influence. Is that accurate? Yes, that is an accurate recount, yes. You had Devin Nunes. You know what? This is actually the incredible thing about it. I mean, look at this. This is even Politico. A left-leaning rag. Headline, Obama team was warned in 2014 about Russian interference and did nothing. This is see, I remember when I went back reading these stories, I remember in 2016, and I've said this many times, Devin Nunes was actually kind of anti-Trump in the sense that he was kind of leading the forefront with the Russian meddling crap because he was actually seeing it in real time and seeing the Democrats standing down for 2 years. So when this was all happening in 2016, Devin Nunes is sitting here throwing papers in the air like, what the heck is going on here? We've got Russian meddling. And at this time, he believes it got Trump in office. So he kind of thinks that there's something to Trump-Russia collusion, maybe not in so many words, but he sees the Russian hacking. He sees Obama standing down on it, and he sees Trump getting in, and he thinks that there's something to this. And so he kind of comes out as anti-Trump, but not as much anti-Trump, but pro-Russia interference and meddling. Then as time goes by, he sees what really happened here. And he's now obviously, pro-Trump and doesn't buy the Russian influence thing. But I remember going back and seeing Nunes do this. So again, doesn't this just illustrate how fake it all is? It's so 1984. You might as well be reading 1984 and just call it 2018. Obama warned for 2 years about Russian interference. They stood down. Obama was putting, but it's not even Obama. It's been going on. During the Obama administration, kids were being put in cages. During the Obama administration, kids were being separated at families. Oh, but it's Trump's fault. Trump's the bad guy. Last night, there's a Move On protest that I filmed and responded to. It's on the Alex Jones channel and at the Alex Jones Facebook. Donald Trump is destroying America. Yeah, he's destroying America by rebuilding it. He's destroying America by record jobs growth. He's destroying America by record economic growth. He's destroying America by record low unemployment. That's destroying. Building it, creating it, making it wealthy and prosperous again is destroying it. This is the 1984 doubling. Oh, Trump colluded with Russia. Really, how? Well, indictments and Mueller and Manafort. No. Tell me how he colluded with Russia. Well, we're going to find out. Well, Hillary colluded with Russia. Oh, please, how did Hillary collude with Russia? Well, okay, Bill Clinton got $500,000 for a speech. Hillary Clinton has had hundreds of millions of dollars donated to the Clinton Foundation by Russians. She did the Uranium One deal. 20% of America's uranium went to Russia. She had intelligence officers get intel from Russian intelligence, and then that created a dossier. So there's all of the Clinton-Russia collusion sitting right out there, and with all of it, imagine they're wearing a Russian hat, they have a Russian shirt on, they're waving a Russian flag, and they're like, look, Trump's colluding with Russia. He's colluding as they're waving the Russian flag, rubles pouring out of their pockets, just flush with Russian money, just Russia all over them. All of them met with Putin. It's all the same. Trump's colluding with Russia as they're waving the Russian flag, taking all hundreds of millions of dollars from Russian. So this is now the 1984 society I live in. Trump actually stands up to Russia. Obama stands down, and somehow Trump's colluding. Is there anything more disgraceful than a stooge and a puppet that goes on television pretending to be a voice of truth, pretending to be a voice of righteousness when they're nothing more than cowards and frauds? Is there anything more disgraceful than that? Well, see it for yourself with Anderson Cooper and Stephen Colbert slamming Trump, saying he's disgraceful.
You called Trump's performance disgraceful.
I said the most disgraceful performance by an American president on the world stage in my lifetime.
Yeah. Pause it right there. Yeah. In your lifetime as a CIA operative, Mockingbird Press. Yeah. It wasn't President Bush lying about weapons of mass destruction. No, I'm sure it wasn't that. I'm sure it wasn't all of the other lies that got us into war. I'm sure it wasn't if you want to keep your doctor, you can keep your doctor. That's Obamacare. Oops, nope, not. It wasn't, oh, free health care for all. Oh, you pay $27,000 to receive Obamacare before you even get any treatment. No, it wasn't any of those lies. It wasn't any of the lies from Obama, none of the lies from Bush. Yeah, it wasn't Bill Clinton lying about sexual relations with Monica Lewinsky or using a cigar for sexual pleasure. No. It was none of that. It was Trump being real and wanting to have a good relationship with Russia. According to Anderson Cooper, who must want war with Russia, that's the most disgraceful thing he's ever seen. Go back to the CIA operative.
It just popped out. It was the first thing I said. As soon as the press conference was done, it just sort of popped out of my mouth. Yeah.
But you heard about, he changed one of the words, right? You heard about
Yes, I did. Well, that all makes sense now.
Sure.
Well, yeah, it's very
so
clear.
Now it's not disgraceful, it's graceful.
Yes, exactly.
It's the most graceful performance.
Yes. Yeah. But he has the best words, as he told us during the campaign. So.
He has the best
Beat
words.
you.
He's a very stable genius.
You're deep state.
He is a stable genius.
Yeah. Yes.
This is a jump ball. It's either one of you. Does anyone else share my feeling that I find it offensive to call it a performance? That is a disgraceful performance. It's not.
That's what they're doing.
He is the president. He's just disgraceful. There's no. If it's a performance, it's even worse.
Yeah, I can see what you're. Yeah, I see what you're saying.
So see, here's what you learn following these people. Everything that they try to project on Trump or InfoWars or just to project out there on anything, that's who they are. That's them. They're the liars. They're disgraceful. Stephen Colbert is disgraceful, going on air as a mouthpiece for the globalists against Trump. Anderson Cooper is disgraceful, a traitor to this country, working as a CIA operative, Mockingbird Press. They're the disgraceful scum. That's why they projected on Trump. Honestly, I mean, you want to be perfectly honest, folks. Donald Trump is probably the most accomplished president the United States have ever had. I mean, you talk about individual accomplishments. I mean, other than the people that fought in the Revolutionary War, maybe Dwight Eisenhower, I mean, Trump, it's not even close. But I digress. Talk about disgraceful. How about Peter Strzok and Lisa Page, who now Lisa Page, in her closed-door testimonies, might be saying bombshell things that is going to bring this whole thing down. Let's listen to Representative John Ratcliffe revealing some of the things Page said in the closed-door hearing.
There are differences in their testimony. In many cases, she admits that the text messages mean exactly what they say, as opposed to Agent Strzok, who thinks that we've all misinterpreted his own words on any text message that might be negative.
Uh-oh. 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 Are Strzok and Lise not on the same page? Oh, Peter Pennywise Strzok is in trouble, Peter. Peter, we all float in the end. Peter Strzok, you're going to float in the end, Peter. Float away, Peter, float away. So here's the deal, ladies and gentlemen. As we covered, hold on, I got a Peter Stroke on my desk here. It's like a little fly. Smash him into smithereens. Just wipe him off. All right. Anyway, welcome back to the Alex Jones Show. Owen Schroyer filling in. Here's the deal. We covered this with John Rappaport. The reason why mainstream television networks can't tell you about the drug epidemic going on because of big pharmaceutical drugs in this country is because that's who funds them. You can probably not even go through one commercial break at CNN without seeing a prescription drug commercial. And for that matter, you know, MSNBC, probably Fox News as well. So these are the people that fund television news, and they have essentially unlimited resources and finances to be able to do this. And then they're protected by secret courts. Now, why am I telling you this? A, because it shows you kind of how mainstream news operates, where when you have sponsors and certain people that fund your news organization, you have to protect essentially those clients by not producing content that might hurt their bottom line, to put it simply. Okay, so what does that mean? Well, how often are you going to see mainstream television news mention the fact that almost every time there's a mass shooter, they're on psychotropic drugs? How often are you going to see mainstream news talking about the drug epidemic going on in this country? How often are you going to see them write the stories about how the number is honestly incredible? I can't remember it. I think it's 70% of college students are on some form of big pharmaceutical pills every day. I mean, if you want to talk about mass poisoning, you know, just look at the side effects of these. 70% of students are taking them. So that's why you don't see those stories on television, because they have to cater their message to their clients. Fine, understandable. Our clients are you. Our clients support us at InfoWarsStore.com. So we don't have to worry about other businesses or corporations or industries being offended or hurting their bottom line when we report news. Our loyalty is to the truth. Our loyalty is to justice. Our loyalty is to our audience. So that's the difference between what we do here as an independent news organization versus what you see almost everywhere else, where they have to have funding from big industries, you know, fast food, pharmaceutical. That's what they do to fund themselves. We created our own store, InfoWarsStore.com, and you fund us by shopping. And we have big, deep discounts going right now. This is the Defeat the Democrat Censorship Sale. You've got 67% off on some of the supplements right now at InfoWarsStore.com. You got 50% off top sellers like Alpha Power, Vitamin Mineral Fusion, Brain Force Plus, Super Male and Super Female Vitality, Super Blue, fluoride-free toothpaste. It's all at InfoWarsStore.com. Take advantage of the huge specials right now and download the new InfoWars official mobile app. It is a very powerful app. I know some of my friends and family that have downloaded it have told me how great it is. So it's all possible with your support at InfoWarsStore.com. Take advantage of the huge Defeat the Democrat Censorship sale. And if you want to rub your thumb in the nose of the fake news, you want to rub your thumb in the eye of the fake news, go to InfoWarsStore.com and support us today. So I'm now joined by Dr. Jerry Corsi here. Now, Dr. Corsi, I don't know how much research you've done into this, and we can go down this road or we can go down a different road, but there is an individual, Bill Browder, who most people have probably never heard of. In fact, I know Russia's very aware of him. One of our producers was telling me about him 2 years ago, how we needed to report on him, but it kind of wasn't in the news, so I just kind of dropped the ball. But now, last week, Bill Browder's been doing his media campaign tour, Dr. Corsi. He's going on like 5 media outlets a day, telling the world how bad Putin is, telling the world how bad Trump is. So this is now another deep state operative, anti-nationalist operative who's going vocal against Trump and Putin. Why? Well, I guess he's probably got something to hide of his own. What do you think, Jerry Corsi?
Well, very definitely has something to hide on his own. He is was an entrepreneur who in the early part of 2000 went over to Russia and made about $1.5 billion renounced his U.S. citizenship, didn't pay any U.S. taxes, managed to get out of the Soviet Union, gave part of his company, his Hermitage Capital, to HSBC, and then got involved in a money laundering scheme where he got the $1.5 billion out of Russia and didn't pay any Russian taxes. And then he came back to the United States periodically and is the force behind this Magnitsky Act, because Magnitsky was his attorney that the Russians said cheated them out of the $230 million in taxes and put him in prison. So it's a complicated story, but it's the story that Putin brought to the surface again in the Helsinki press conference by saying Browder engaged in all this fraud and contributed $400 million to Hillary Clinton, which nobody knew about.
Yeah, and it was amazing to me when Vladimir Putin said that, because, again, I'm somebody that kind of monitors media all day long, and you never really saw or heard of Bill Browder outside of some other independent news outlets and Russian media. You never really heard Bill Browder's name. And then I see him going on all the different TV networks telling everybody how bad Trump is, how bad Putin is, how Russia's this big problem, even though he left the United States to go to Russia. I mean, a total fraud. And then Putin says Bill Browder's name. He says George Soros' name. So this is why they hate Russia so much. This is why they hate Trump getting along with Putin, because Putin knows what's going on. I mean, say whatever you want about Putin. You know, he's not going to take this crap from George Soros and Bill Browder.
Well, and also now Putin has, just dropped another bomb. They filed charges in Russia against Browder for, stealing all this money and not paying taxes. And also then they've filed charges against several U.S. Diplomats and others in the intelligence agencies, including this former, let me just get the file here. I've been researching this extensively for the past week. This Michael McFaul, who is the U.S. ambassador, was the U.S. ambassador to Russia in the period 2012 to 2014. And Russia is claiming that McFaul is one of the people who helped Browder steal the money out of Russia. And clearly with HSBC owning part of Browder's Heritage Capital, it would have been quite possible to use HSBC for the money laundering. It was at a time when Comey was on the
I was going to say, and then doesn't that implicate a lot of more actors if that was the case?
Right. I mean, this is a serious case. I mean, this is a serious charge because the Magnitsky case, it ties in several different ways. One, it was the case where we imposed some of the most severe sanctions on Russia, and that was really intensified this is all in the Obama administration, intensified the tensions with Russia. And secondly, this whole issue of the Browder case comes up in this attorney, with the Russian attorney that was in there talking to Donald Trump Jr. She was in there talking all about his whole subject was to talk about Browder.
And she already had a prior relationship with Browder via Fusion GPS. And this was
Correct.
The lawyer that was essentially snuck in the country by the Obama administration. I mean, nobody really still can figure out how she got in the country other than the Obama administration signing her off. So that's what's going on.
Right.
Jerome Corsi is on top of all of this. Alex Jones is going to be joining us on the other side to discuss Putin, who's calling it as it is, folks. I mean, again, say what you want about Vladimir Putin. The guy calls it as it is. You have to appreciate that. He says forces in the United States are trying to undermine successful talks with Trump. They want war with Russia. They planned on war with Russia over Syria. They're not getting their war. It's ticking them off. So we're trying to tie all these geopolitical strings together here. Kit Daniels had a story last year. Putin says Hillary behind Russian collusion hysteria and elites disrespect Trump voters. And in this story, he mentioned some of this collusion and then the names like Bill Browder that are now becoming mainstream. But here's the story. And I want to get Dr. Corsi's take on this in response. So let's just look at Putin for a second. Let's flash the clocks back 2 years when there were uprisings and violent protests in Kiev and in Crimea in the Ukraine, where you had unidentified snipers shooting protesters, and then the media blamed Putin for that. And so Putin doesn't respond to the fake news anymore. He genuinely doesn't care. And so to the fake news, they think that means he's guilty, when the truth is he just doesn't care. He doesn't bother to sling mud with the fake news. Then it comes out a year later that the snipers were actually Ukrainian paid-for Georgian snipers that were there to false flag it and blame Putin. So it all came out. This is what they do with their false flags. And Putin has never really provided them any fuel. He just ignores it. And so they take that and they say, oh, Putin must be guilty. He's ignoring it. No, Putin is just ignoring your fake news. So anyway, this is how they demonize Putin, when all Putin's doing, honestly, is calling out the bad actors here. And we know what Soros does. We know Soros has involvement in the struggle with Ukraine and Russia, where the Crimean people want to be a part of Russia, but then they fund these violent protests, say that Crimea doesn't want to be part of Russia, and then people get shot and they blame Putin, just twisting and concocting the whole thing. And you know, people like Soros are involved in this. Who knows what Bill Browder's doing with his billions of dollars tax-free? But what do you make of the hysteria that continues in the media over Trump, Putin, over Russia? I mean, these people really want war with Russia, Dr. Corsi.
Well, I also think there's an element here of the deep state realizing how close Donald Trump is to really exposing and showing the corruption within the deep state and shutting down Mueller's operation. I mean, Mueller's indictment here, these 22 or now 12 intelligence agencies, plus the other 13 individuals named in the first indictment, none of them are going to come to the United States to face trial. And what Putin has done is he's called the bluff. He said, well, send your FBI or whatever to Russia, and you can interview the indicted 12 intelligence agents in Russia. And then he also countered with this suit charging Browder with crimes in Russia. And Browder appears to be protected by the former U.S. ambassador to Russia, this Michael McFaul. And as I've researched Michael McFaul, Putin's got a lot of reason to be angry at him. In 2012, McFaul went over to Russia and started undermining Putin. He started having meetings with the various opposition to Putin in order to see if he could destabilize the election and let Putin lose. Now that's Putin understands that at the heart of what he's just done with this indictment is to expose that the United States was deeply involved in meddling in his election in 2012. And this McFaul is at the heart of it, probably involved in a criminal scheme with this guy Browder, and maybe that involves U.S. money laundering through HSBC when James Comey was on the board of HSBC and Robert Mueller was head of the FBI. So, I mean, Putin is, I think, quite clever, and I think he's really put on the table something that's going to be taking Americans a little bit of time to understand. But I've been trying to explain this, that it's a very brilliant move by Putin.
Well, here's the thing about Putin, too. Like, again, there's all of these different false images of who Putin really is. You know, he's this strongman dictator, this, that, and the other thing. Putin, honestly, I mean, if you really want to know Putin is there 100% to protect Russia. That is his number one thing. He wants to maintain Russia as an independent sovereign nation. And that's really where his if you want to call him a dictator, stops. These people don't even understand the geopolitics. Half of the country is going to bed when the other half is waking up. So St. Petersburg is at bedtime when Moscow is getting up in the morning. You think Putin is a dictator over this country that makes up 30% of the world's landmass, 11 different time zones? They don't even have a clue what they're talking about. He's just trying to maintain Russia as an independent sovereign nation and just keep them together. That's all he cares about. He doesn't care about the fake news. But Dr. Corsi, why do you think, I mean, here's my take. I think Bill Browder is panicking right now. I'm not sure exactly why. Maybe Trump knows something. Maybe Putin knows something. But this is a guy who you never saw on TV, barely ever heard of. Now he's doing like 5 interviews a day across all television stations. So why do you think Bill Browder is all of a sudden out in public crying Putin, Trump bad?
Well, I think, first of all, what Putin realizes, and I think Donald Trump does as well, is that they are both under attack by the deep state. The deep state would like to destabilize both of them. The hard left deep state is still angry that Russia gave up communism, and they like to get rid of Putin and reinstate communism in Russia. The same way here, Donald Trump stood in the way of Hillary Clinton, taking the hard left Democratic Party and making us first socialist and then communist of the same move. And Donald Trump and Putin are standing in the way. Now, this indictment with Browder, with the connection to $400 million to Hillary, is a very clever, I think, move that will ultimately could bring Mueller down, because Mueller's been challenged. If you've got an indictment against 12 Russians, come over here to Russia and we'll help you investigate them. Christopher Wray is never going to do that. Just like
the original indictments with the I think it's like 13 Russians and 3 Russian entities, so said, they have legal representation show up in court and demand discovery. Mueller balks. I mean, it's the same thing. Russia's like, all right, we're here, we'll cooperate, and then Mueller walks away.
Well, see, Mueller never intended to bring these cases to court. I mean, look what's happened. The Russian collusion couldn't be proved, so now, like, global warming, it morphed into climate change.
Exactly.
Well, now we've got, instead of Russian collusion, we've just got Russian involvement in our election, which, by the way, has been going on for a long time. And Russia's countering and saying, you were involved in my election.
And they even admit there was no impact.
Your ambassador, right, and no impact. But see, again, what Donald Trump's got to say and understand to the American people is that this proves there's no collusion, because that whole argument is abandoned and lost in the shift to the focus on Russian involvement in the election. If they prove Russian involvement in the election, that does nothing to harm Donald Trump, because he didn't encourage the Russian involvement.
And it was the Obama administration that allowed it, literally. Correct. And they admit it. I mean, it's so crazy. But I don't know. I guess I should stop being shocked. I know I live in 1984 society, so I guess I should just expect this stuff. Up is down is up, war is peace, and truth is fiction. This is 1984 society, brought to you by the left.
All right, we've got investigative journalist Dr. Jerome Corsi, 3-time #1 New York Times bestseller, waiting in the wings to continue his detailed analysis. We have Owen Schroyer sitting in the cockpit in Austin, Texas. But I'm here to do a breakdown on some of the developments that tie into all this. Putin is a straight shooter. He's standing up for the sovereignty of Russia. He's taking it away from the globalist. Trump sees kinship in Putin, understanding the model of taking his country back and then rebuilding it. Trump realizes that America will be 10 times more successful than Russia if we can actually get it out from under the control of the globalist and turn it back on for the American people. And everything Trump's done has been 100% in line, not with Russia or anybody else, but with doing energy deals that help America and, quite frankly, hurt Russia and many other issues. So the claim that Trump, because he's being nice to Putin, or said he's been a strong leader, is selling out is a total fraud. The globalists have sold the country out, and they're the ones involved in massive fake news. I want to go over a few examples of this, and then hand it back to Dr. Corsi and Owen Schroyer. But we saw over a month ago the last big fake scandal run by the UN and George Soros, that we've got to totally open our borders up and occupy the ICE facilities and tell collapsing Venezuela with 4 million people moving north after it's collapsed through Central America that America's open, everything's free, come here. That is a UN global government plan to collapse the West, period. That's their plan for world government, is collapsing third world countries into the first world, and then we capitulate to the UN to manage the crisis they helped engineer. And so Trump and Putin, by the way, are saying, we're not going to do this, we're standing up for our nation states. And so they put out this fake image on a red background of the little girl crying, separated from her mother, with Trump looking down on her. Trump was never at the border. The little girl wasn't taken from her mother. All of that came out later to be a hoax, but it didn't matter. They had the fake iconography, the fake logo, the fake imagery of Trump standing with a little 3-year-old crying girl. Well, they're back again. Anybody can morph somebody's face into somebody else, and it's a fraud on its face, pun intended. But they show a morphed Trump and Putin, and at a very archetypal level, men look the same, humans look the same. So when you morph two faces, it makes you automatically think they are one. You could morph my face with somebody and think that. So now they're resorting to that. Look, he is Putin. Well, if Putin's running our economy coming back and the borders being controlled and the military being expanded and thousands of new factories being built and the lowest unemployment level ever recorded, my God, great job, Putin. But no, the truth is, just like Putin got partial control of his country from the globalists and the Russian economy got better years ago, same thing's happening here. And so Putin, as a strong nationalist, has been the model for many other nation states around the world to struggle free from the big mega corporations and what they're doing. Now, after 2 days after their Helsinki summit, Putin finally came out in a press conference today to RT and went off his prepared march for just 2 minutes. The quotes are up on Infowars.com and Newswars.com. And he said, listen, you've got domestic groups want political power trying to demonize Trump. I can assure you in our meeting, he's 100% about American interests, and where Russian and U.S. interests meet in a few areas, we might work together. But quite frankly, that's not what's happening. So they want to derail Trump. Leaders are supposed to care about their national sovereignty. Trump is doing that. He was just point blank. He talked to me straight up. And we just agreed to try to move forward where our interests don't collide. And Trump understands that you've got globalists like Soros in control of your country that want to run it in the ground and admit it, like Bill Maher and others have said. So that's the bottom line, and it's amazing. And notice they're saying, don't do it, don't do the trap where we have this anti-crime treaty. Organized crime treaty from '99 with Interpol, the U.S. and Russia. Don't do that where you get to go look at interview these Russian people, talk to them. Don't because Putin wants to interview Mr. Bonner that Dr. Corsi was just talking about. So the Russians are straight shooting on all this. And again, I want to be clear. Russia's all about its interests. It's mafia run in many cases. That's better than communist run. And they're trying to be free market. They're trying to modernize because that's where the wealth's at. They've cut their military spending. China. I keep hammering this because Tucker Carlson's now covering it. Sean Hannity gets it. Office of Personnel Management hack. All of this. The sellout Hollywood control of the Chi-Coms. Even Washington Post admits the big 50 public universities have been Chi-Com infiltrated. They're the ones running our lives. They're the ones trying to bankrupt the country. They're the ones at Davos a year and a half ago saying, don't worry about Trump. We'll work with the EU. We're going to stop him. They are openly allied with the CFR and all these traitors. They're the ones that think they can beat America. Russia wants America off its back with Soros, try to overthrow their country. So damn right their interests are. They want to get with Trump and try to have economic deals. And they want to get married to us. They want to give us their resources. They want to get in bed with America. And they control about half the borders in the world between Western Europe, Eastern Europe, Central Asia, East Asia, Far East Asia. That is a no-brainer. The Pentagon knows that if you're actually pro-America, you go into Russia with economic development, hype them up as Christians, which they are ready to do, launch the relaunch of the West with Russia, total global domination through free market and open ideas, not through the fist. With military backed up by the U.S. and Russia, China will be cut off. We can make them reform. It is the future. If not, death, war, the end of peace. These are the enemies of America, the enemies of humanity. These are the globalists. And Trump is absolutely right. God bless you all, and I'm honored to be associated with all of you. Back to Dr. Jerome Corsi, Owen Schroyer, and others from the Central Texas Command Center.
All right, there goes Alex Jones. Dr. Corsi, well, you just heard Alex break it all down. I just want to get your response to that and all of your research that you've done into the deep state that you see Trump is fighting against.
Well, as usual, I think Alex is exactly right. I mean, this is clearly the United States and Russia as two nation states won't see every issue eye to eye. We have our own nation state interests. Russia has theirs. Ukraine is an example. Within their sphere of influence, going back to the balance of power theories of 200 or 300 years ago that have persisted since then, we're probably not going to go to war over Ukraine, and Russia's probably not going to go to war over something that happens in, Cuba. I mean, we went through that whole issue in the 60s, and we found out that basically the Western Hemisphere is going to be U.S. sphere of influence, and Russia's going to have theirs. But the point is, right now it is a fight to the death with the deep state for both Putin and for Trump. And when they got together in their meeting privately, I'm sure they exchanged notes and realized that they were each dealing with the same enemy. This is why I think Putin has come out brilliantly and said to Mueller, if you really have a case here, if you really wanted to go to trial, or it was just show trial, if this is all just, you want to say you indicted people, therefore you proved your case, Putin say you didn't prove anything. Come to Russia, and I'll let you investigate the 12 intelligence agents you indicted.
And you have these just frankly dumb, you-know-what people say, hey, where's your evidence of Russian collusion? And they say, oh, there's indictments. That's not evidence. They don't even understand it.
And I heard one of the congressmen during the hearing, which Representative Deutsch was calling for InfoWars to be banned from Facebook. Another one of the Democrats said that this indictment proved that Putin stole the election.
It proves nothing. Yeah.
Proves nothing. It proves that he indicted some people. Well, okay, now prove your case, Mueller.
It's like they old saying, they can indict a ham sandwich.
And Mueller made these indictments knowing that there would never be a trial. He was shocked when one of the companies in the first indictment got some lawyers and said, we're going to defend the case. Mueller wasn't ready to go to trial because he never expected to go to trial. There is no case here. There's first of all, no collusion. So the Democrats have now morphed it into talking about Russian interference. And Rosenstein admitted the interference that the Russians have done was minimal and didn't affect
and
the
Obama
outcome.
Stood down. Obama said, stand down. Dr. Corsi,
Right.
Dr. Corsi, do you have a ham sandwich in your refrigerator?
Maybe I can go and indict it.
Well, you might want to watch out because Mueller might be on his way to indict your ham sandwich. So you might want to get rid of that evidence, but then he'll indict you for obstruction of justice. All right, Dr. Corsi, thank you so much for joining us. Find him on Twitter at Jerome_Corsi. So you've probably seen or heard of the viral video. Sacha Baron Cohen tries to troll a gun store owner, and then Norris Sweden called him out, caught it all on tape. It's all going viral. He is going to be joining us tomorrow, and I'm really looking forward to interviewing him. That's at 11:30 Central tomorrow, guys. I'm really looking forward to interviewing him because I have a take on this that I've not heard anyone else put out there. I've got a different spin or take on this that I'm not hearing anyone else say. So I'm really looking forward to talking to the owner of Warrior One Guns and Ammo that Sacha Baron Cohen tried to troll and ended up embarrassing himself. So that's going to be happening tomorrow. In the meantime here, I really just want to do a news blitz. So just look at how they'll do anything and everything possible to try to bring Trump down. Now you have New York Governor Cuomo opens door to criminal case against Trump Foundation. Don't you remember they're already suing the Trump Foundation? They've already tried to do X, Y, and Z to the Trump Foundation. Nothing comes of it. It's cleaner than the wind-driven snow. If you did a fair investigation into the Clinton Foundation, they'd all be in jail. It's a RICO case. There's a lawsuit happening right now. So, but this is just why they're panicking. Here's another example of the double standards on the left. Iran says Trump sought meeting with president 8 times at the UN last year. Now let's think about this. Here's President Trump that is trying to meet with every world leader and to try to bring about fairness and peace and to understand all of the different struggles and tensions. And here's Iran that just gives him the middle finger. So what does that tell you about Iran, and what does that tell you about Trump? But more importantly, what does it tell you about the left that wants to coexist? Everybody get along. We can all get along. We can all coexist. Let's all meet. Let's all have peace. And Trump legitimately tries to do that with one of our biggest enemies. And where are they to be found on that story? Nowhere. This one is like, I mean, you want, again, 1984 level ridiculous. Russian bots are using hashtag walkaway to try to wound Dems in midterms. And then you read the story, and they're claiming that black people in America are leaving the Democrat Party because of Russian bots. So they're saying now Russian bots are tricking African Americans into leaving the Democrat Party. Not the fact that every city run by Democrats is collapsing. No. And so we're going to be joined by Brandon Straka, I'm hoping next week, to talk about this. But this is even the craziest thing. They're saying it's Russian bots. Guys, pull up the YouTube channel. There's a channel on YouTube. It's #WalkAwayFanClub or something. And you've got hundreds, if not thousands of videos between Facebook, Twitter, and YouTube. You have thousands of videos of actual former Democrats doing the #WalkAway and filming it and explaining why. It's just like Brandon Tatum a year and a half ago, who kind of did the original #WalkAway video. If you really want to get down to it, he didn't have the hashtag and the whole movement, but he was like, look, I thought I was a Democrat, and then I did some research. I realized I'm nowhere near the values of a Democrat. Same thing happened with Candace Owens. And so Candace Owens and Brandon Tatum then, I guess, are just Russian trolls. I guess all of these videos on the #WalkAwayFanClub video of all different types of people, men, women, all different races, all different creeds. You have thousands of these videos. I guess these are all Russian trolls. No, these are Americans. It's like this. I did this video last night. Some people think I'm the worst at improv. Some people think I'm funny. Regardless, I was joking last night covering this Move On protest with all these brainwashed protesters. And I'm like, brains, brains, brains. So these are zombie protesters that want to eat brains. And that's why anyone that has brains is walking away, because they don't have their brains eaten out. That's #WalkAway. And CNN is such a disgraceful pile of garbage that they're going to say all of these people are Russian bots. That's how out of touch with reality they are. That's how big of liars they are. But more than anything, that's how scared they are, because the walkaway movement is real. These are people abandoning their plantation. And so CNN is panicked right now. This is from Snopes. Fact check: if the president is impeached for treason, is everyone else removed from office as well? Think about this. So this is Snopes, the big fact checker. It's like a house cat and a mouse fact checking. And they just imply that the charges of treason are just already inherent. Like, oh, yeah, it's a fact that Trump can be tried with treason. So what does that mean for everyone else in office? He can't be tried for treason. There's no treason. They can't even explain the treason. They say, Trump is siding with Russia over the U.S. intelligence agencies. That's not treason. So these people don't even know what they're talking about. If anything, it's the intelligence agencies guilty of treason. Spying on U.S. citizens illegally? I mean, give me a break. Brace yourselves for this one. Lena Dunham. Lena Dunham. The ham. Lena Ham. Not the good ham. Lena Bad Ham. Lena Dumb Ham. Deletes tweet about French kissing animals. Ladies and gentlemen, cocaine is a hell of a drug. Lena Dunham tweets out to her 5.5 million followers saying, never trust anyone who doesn't regularly French kiss animals. All right. I don't know what to make of this, but I think it's fair to ask, did Lena Dunham just admit she engages in bestiality? I'm just asking for a friend. And so she obviously deleted that tweet. Was it drug-induced? Was it alcohol-induced? Was it reality-induced? Lena Dunham says never trust anyone who doesn't regularly French kiss animals. Is she talking about herself? I wouldn't trust anyone that French kisses that animal. It's like a beached sea porpoise or something. All right. Look at this one from The Hill. Media figures lament toxic Twitter. Let me translate this for you. Because these people love Twitter. They run Twitter. They censor us on Twitter. They're losing on Twitter. They don't know what to do about it. Twitter is only toxic now because we have dominated it. We are kicking ass on Twitter, even with all the censorship, and they don't know what to do. All they have left is their leftist bots paid for by David Brock. That's all they have. That's all they have. And so now they hate Twitter because they're losing. So media figures now lament Twitter because they're losing on Twitter. San Francisco registers non-citizens to vote in school election, and they want them to vote in the presidential election. Oh, here you go. Maxine Waters, good old Mad Maxine, the Mad Hatter, the James Brown wig-wearing freak show, warns supporters of possible armed protest against her. Hey, I got news for you, Maxine. I've already had armed protest against me. So why don't you get on my level, Mad Max? I've already had armed protest against me. But then again, we here, the conservatives and the patriots and the Americans, we don't do armed intimidation protests. That's your people. It's your people that shot Steve Scalise. Okay? It's your people that planned the July 4th bombing in Cleveland. It's your people that had an armed protest against me. We should run that B-roll if we have it available. So Maxine Waters warns supporters of a possible armed protest against her, playing the victim. Hey, Maxine, I've had armed protests against me. Your thugs did armed protest against me. So get on my level, Mad Maxine, with your 12 IQ. But look out. Petition calling for Maxine Waters' expulsion nears 100,000 signatures, which is what it requires for a White House response. Look out, Mad Max. You're in trouble. You're a deranged lunatic freak show that is trying to stir up violence in this country. Democrats slam Ocasio-Cortez. Her socialist vision would bankrupt the country. I'm telling you, Democrats in middle America, like in Illinois, etc., are capitalists. They don't understand. And here's the other thing about it. As this brazen, arrogant young lady who's totally ignorant is calling for occupation of airports, ICE offices, all this stuff, she's not even elected yet. Think about that. She's not even in office yet, and they're already putting the crown on her. If she loses in this upcoming election, do you understand how devastating that is to the Democrat Party? It's already devastating that she's outed herself as a total moron. Imagine if she loses. The darling of the left, the socialist queen, already crowned. Imagine if she loses. It's a total collapse. All right, Rand Paul is on fire right now. Just what a patriot he is. Yesterday, we had the clip of him being lambasted by CBS in the morning. They just were begging for him to say Trump bad. He refused to say it, so they kicked him off the show. Shows you how much integrity they have and how much they care about the truth. Now he goes on, I believe he was on CNN with Wolf Blitzer, and he's talking about Trump derangement syndrome right on their main platform, promoting it. Check out Rand Paul, the patriot.
What is lost in this is that I think there's a bit of Trump derangement syndrome. I think there are people who hate the president so much that this could have easily been President Obama early in his first administration setting the reset button and trying to have better relations with Russia. And I think it's lost on people that they are a nuclear power. They have influence in Syria. They're in close proximity to our troops in Syria. They are close to the peninsula of North Korea and may have some influence that could help us there. The other thing that's lost, and people forget this completely, the Russians tried to help us stop the Boston Marathon bombing. We actually did help them stop a terrorist attack in St. Petersburg because we were communicating and exchanging information. All those things are good.
That's right. Pause it right there. You know, that's so key. You know, again, Tamerlan Tsarnaev was the guy who they claim was responsible for it, had ties to the FBI and CIA, yet somehow they didn't know who he was. He was going out of... I can't even remember the city now in Western Russia. Maybe one of the crew members can remind me, but I can't remember. But it's in Western Russia, and he's going back and forth. Russia's aware of it. They know he's sympathizing with ISIS, so they warn our intelligence communities, and then they stand down. Chechnya, that's where he was. So then they stand down. It all happens, and that's what woke me up was that story. The Boston Marathon bombing showed. That's what woke me up to the deep state, the lies of the mainstream media more than anything, and I... from that day on, started transitioning out of sports into politics. Here I am today. But it's just, these are just the little facts that if people understood, it would just open their eyes. Let's go back to Rand Paul.
All of that's being lost.
It's not a matter of hating President Trump. It's a matter of what he did today, what he said today. Met with President Putin, as you know, for more than 2 hours. Unlike other presidents, especially on foreign soil, he blamed the United States for the bad relationship with Russia.
Pause right there. Hey, Wolf Blitzer, where were you when there was a hot mic? Obama wasn't aware of it, and he said, I think it was with Lavrov or some other Russian official. He says, don't worry, when I get reelected, we'll have the negotiations with Putin. Yes, just wait, just wait. He leans over and he's all secret. He's like, it's okay. Just you know, after my reelection, we'll get the deals done. We'll meet with Putin, everything. No outrage, never aired on CNN. All right, let's go back.
To back his own intelligence community for its assessment. He declined to support the U.S. law enforcement community, including the Justice Department. He continues, Senator, he continues to call, hold on a second, he continues to call the news media a free press in the United States.
You are the enemy. You're a lying scumbag, Wolf Blitzer. You're a divider.
Has any other
piece of trash.
Any other president in American history done anything like that?
It's like listening to Oscar the Grouch or something.
So, for example, when you look at the intelligence community, the most recent leaders of the intelligence community, James Clapper and John Brennan. James Clapper perjured himself before the Senate.
About Dan Coats.
Bingo.
I'm talking about the current director of national intelligence who had to issue a statement.
Again, this is the same. This is just what CBS did to him yesterday.
Senator, question, Wolf, we can't really have an interview.
No, I just want to be precise.
If you want to have an interview, you got to let me answer the question.
It's Dan Coats and Mike Pompeo.
You're usually better than this.
I'm telling you, folks, they are pushing these Republicans. I tell you what.
It does matter who was in charge of the intelligence. It does matter because they started up some of this.
Clapper lied. Brennan lied. Brennan was a communist. Brennan's a Wahhabist. They all, I mean, it's ridiculous. And so there's the powerful Rand Paul segment on CNN. So they do the same thing they did to him on CBS. They interrupt him. They don't let him answer, and then they kick him off. These are trash. These are scum. They lie all day long. And then they're going to point the finger at Trump and how dare he say we're the enemy of the American people. By the way, America's racist and sexist and misogynist. You should hate it. What? Screw you.
Yes. Hello, everybody. Welcome, welcome. Boy, I haven't been on in a while. It was a kind of vacation time over the course of the beginning of the summer here. So my schedule wasn't jibing with InfoWars and Alex and whatnot, but it's not like nothing happened during the time I've been away. It's every time. I think I say this every time I do this program. It just keeps getting crazier. It just gets nuttier and nuttier as time goes on. You look back with fondness and nostalgia at the insanity of just a month ago. You can look back and go, I remember when I thought that was complete insanity a month ago. Remember? Oh my goodness. When they were saying they're ripping babies out of parents' arms. Wasn't that quaint? And saying that Trump was a terrible person and oh, so quaint, because now we are really legitimately, literally up to, they want him absolutely removed from office, and they are doing everything in their power to do it. And by they, we know who it is. The liberal maniacs, the Democrats, mainstream media, all these interest groups for the left, Antifa, and the rest. It's gotten insane. I read Twitter every day, and I cannot even fathom what these people are thinking. If it's just a motive, like, I would have more respect for them if they are lying through their teeth and just trying to get the president that they didn't vote for out of office. I would have more respect for them if it's that than them being so incredibly stupid that they honestly believe that Donald Trump committed some type of treason, war crimes, crimes against humanity, crimes against the state, that he can be removed and quite possibly executed. Because if you listen to some of the mainstream media, liberal news programs, or read Twitter, you know, the people with the blue check marks, because a lot of people that don't have check marks have their own opinions, but you're not supposed to see those because Twitter, another cesspool like the rest of social media and mainstream media. But you read this stuff, and I really have to think, my God, could they be this stupid? Donald Trump, let's whittle it down to the simplest terms here. Donald Trump goes to Helsinki, and he has a summit with Putin. And he has a press conference after they had a private meeting, and he said things. Let's remember this. He said things. He did not enact any policies. He did not promise anything. He did not change a thing. All he did was say things that some people did not like. And that started the frenzy of just twisting this thing around into them saying that he had committed treason somehow. There are people that believe this. There are honestly people that believe this. And yes, it is Trump derangement syndrome. I knew it existed, but to what extent? And like I said just before, is there this just pure motivation to remove the guy that they didn't vote for because they're mad, like little children, they're angry? Or do they really believe this? Are they deranged? Because I know there are a lot of celebrities. Oh my God. I can't get enough of following just insane celebrities on Twitter and hearing what they're saying. They really think they're making a difference out there and putting their opinions out. My favorite follows, if you'd like to follow along, if you're not blocked already, because they will block you at the drop of a hat if you criticize their take on things. Rob Reiner is just insane. You all might remember him as Meathead on All in the Family back in the 70s. He posts tweets about treason and traitorous acts of this president, and he needs to be removed from office. Like, what? And none of them can answer me. None of them, whether it's a celebrity or your ordinary liberal Joe or Jane. I'm not sure what. I don't want to say what gender they might be, but I never get an answer. What? First of all, what is treason? And what did Trump do that was treasonous? As far as I know, now I'm no scholar here, but I do read up on the topics of the day. Like I said, Donald Trump said things. He wasn't pledging any allegiances. He was speaking his mind and his opinions on what he has seen in his position as president over the course of the past almost couple of years. And you cannot blame the man for not being trusting of the various agencies like the CIA and FBI and some of the other Justice Department agencies. You can't be trusting when all they have done since you won the election was try and undermine your presidency. Well, Anthony, they weren't doing that. They were doing their job, enforcing the laws. No one big enough to jail. Well, then you start seeing tweets from the likes of James Comey, who was indeed the head of the FBI for most of Trump's presidency, if not all of it, right? Didn't they toss Mueller out? No. Anyway, so then you read some of his tweets, and he's like, "Vote Democrat. It's so important. Trump, we got to get this guy out." And what do you think? He just changed his mind? The Republican Congress has proven incapable of fulfilling the founders' design that ambition must counteract ambition. All who believe in this country's values must vote for Democrats this fall. Policy differences don't matter right now. History has its eyes on us. Ugh. Stop trying to be profound. If anyone is traitorous, it's this guy against his president. You know, all of a sudden he becomes political. All of a sudden this mindset of not supporting the president came out. No, this has been day one. Day one, they wanted this guy out. He's not part of their machine. And when people go, they're Republicans, they were appointed by Republicans, they love Republicans, doesn't matter. It's not Republican and Democrat at this point. It's people that want the best for America and people that want America in turmoil. And it's exactly what they're doing. It's the machine, the political machine that has been running forever in this country. They don't want an outsider in there mucking up the works, because that's what Trump is doing to everything that they have put in place over the course of decades upon decades. There's a system in place. Politicians go in, there's a cronyism, they do favors, they get favors, they get money. When they're done, they are wealthy beyond imagination, public servants. Rich beyond imagination, because they have screwed everyone in this country for their tenure. And Donald Trump is pointing it out, and that ain't good. They do not like this at all. So don't tell me about Republicans or Democrats, because it's that machine that's been grinding away, using the American people as fuel for decades upon decades. Don't go anywhere. My God, I'm going to tell you about the stock market and other fun things going on in this country. We'll be right back. Infowars.com. Yes, welcome back. Super Silver Wound Gel uses SilverSalt technology. That's an advanced patented technology that has forever changed the colloidal nano, my God, it's crazy. Silver market. There's been extensive research on SilverSalt technology. This research includes 20+ safety reports and test series, as well as the first ever double-blind FDA-cleared human ingestion toxicity study done on any silver product. This formula is 24 ppm. That's 32 ppm version is FDA cleared as a prescription medical device. Similar products sell for $40 or more. It's only, it's one of the only OTC products that direct claims against MRSA. You don't want that. And VRE, two of the most deadly forms of bacteria that can cause infection. Great for first and second degree burns, including sunburn. The Super Silver Wound Gel is essential armor for your wounds. It's a protective barrier that guards the wound and helps keep from getting infected. You don't want an infection. The barrier protection can last up to 3 days on the skin, helping to eliminate the chance of infection. It's perfect for athletes of all ages in all areas of sports. Yeah, Super Silver Wound Gel. We might at any moment. Are we ready right now? Nice. We're going to let Roger Stone take over for a few minutes, and then we'll be right back on Infowars.com. Roger Stone.
Thank you, Anthony. This is Roger Stone from the South Florida Bureau of Infowars with breaking news. Yesterday, it was reported that Special Counsel Robert Mueller would ask the court for immunity for 5 witnesses to testify against Paul Manafort. We at Infowars have exclusively learned that one of those 5 witnesses is Tony Podesta. Tony Podesta is guilty of the same infraction as Paul Manafort, lobbying on behalf of a Ukrainian political party without lobbying. It's also interesting that Tony Podesta was the lobbyist for the Russian-owned energy company Rostov that acquired Uranium One. Additionally, Tony Podesta has had a number of high-profile corporate Russian clients of companies owned by the oligarchs around Vladimir Putin. So to make this very clear, if you are a Democrat and you break the law, you are given immunity. Yet if you are a Republican and you allegedly break the law, Paul Manafort, you are prosecuted. This lays bare the completely partisan nature of the Mueller investigation. This is Roger Stone with breaking news. Now back to Anthony.
Thank you, Roger. Wow, look at this. You know, I love the little bits and pieces that trickle out of this investigation that just prove the hypocrisy that's going on in this country. Nauseating. I was watching Chappaquiddick the other day, and you see, you know, the story. Ted Kennedy is just about almost to the day. It was yesterday, maybe the day before, that 49 years ago, Ted Kennedy having one of their parties out there in the vineyard, having one of their big parties, drinking with some of the secretarial staff from his brother Bobby's campaign before. Well, we know what happened there. So he's getting those secretaries together, and maybe he might be using them in the future for his own political runs and whatnot. So they're having this party, and Mary Jo Kopechne is one of these lovely girls that are there partying with them. And at some point during the evening, he takes a little drive with Mary Jo. They go out, have a little chit-chat, maybe a few drinks. God knows what else. I'm not insinuating, but we all know the Kennedys, what was going on. Apparently his wife was bedridden at the time, so he's gallivanting around with Mary Jo. So he's hammered. He drives off the bridge at Chappaquiddick. Car flips over underwater. He manages to get out. She doesn't. And then from that point on, this attempted cover-up happens. Now, the movie shows him trying to be a good guy about it after he realizes that maybe his attempts at covering it up wasn't a good thing. But you know, we don't know. The whole political machine was behind him, trying to get him out of trouble. Robert McNamara apparently was in there, and a lot of other bigwigs in Washington to try to get him out of trouble. But the bottom line is there was a huge cover-up. To this day, all the details aren't known. There was strong evidence that Mary Jo was not killed immediately or did not drown. She ran out of oxygen in an air pocket in the car. So again, there was a lot of time to get her out. But apparently, for some reason, Ted instead called a couple of his buddies, got in a little boat, rowed back to his hotel, which was across a small body of water, and took a bath and went to sleep. And he woke up the next day and called a bunch of other people. And finally, when the cat was out of the bag, he started fessing up to some of this with a lot of alterations to the story, let's say. I'm bringing this up because, again, yeah, the history of it was 49 years ago. And also the fact that this guy went on to serve in the United States Senate for 40 more years. This guy held the office up there in Massachusetts like a pope. Held that office like the Pope. You're not out till you're dead. They voted him in every time. He even did make a presidential run. He lost in the primary, but you know, he wanted to. This was a Democrat who, up until he died in 2009, I think it was revered, iconic, someone that was looked up to by Democrats. He killed somebody and tried to cover it up. And then you get the Democratic Party, which is supposed to be, or not supposed to be, they fancy themselves this amazing moral compass. The people that are there to tell you what's good and evil and who's being a good guy and a bad guy. Yeah, next month it'll be, what was that, 18 years, 10 years, 9 years? I have no idea. It's math. Don't tell me about math. So, yeah, he's looked at, and they fancy themselves as being these morally superior to everybody. And, you know, that's a prime example of that hypocrisy that we were just talking about in this country. You think you'd hide your head in the sand and go, please don't look at me. Yeah, you do what you want. We go, I can't even mention this because we have so many skeletons in our closet. No, they're going, we're the ones that should be telling everybody how to live and lead their lives. We know what's best for America and stuff. There was their hero. Guy that ran away and left the girl to suffocate in a sunken car. Back in a matter of moments. Don't you go anywhere. I'm going to tell you about an amazing stock market tip. Welcome back. Infowars.com. Anthony Cumia in. I had a revelation the other day. You saw what happened with Papa John's Pizza, did you? Papa John's Pizza. Apparently, the guy John, the originator of the company, you've seen him on all the commercials, Papa John, a while back because they stopped letting him do commercials. Because here's how the controversy started. The NFL and Papa John's Pizza were partners. You know, they're doing a lot of business together. So Papa John decides, hey, I'm going to say something about this kneeling thing. This whole kneeling thing during the national anthem. I don't like it. I like America, whatever. And so they were like, oh, well, your opinion? Why, we got to throw you out. If you voice an opinion, we can't allow that. So that started the rocky road of the founder of Papa John's. So then they figure, all right, look, we need some kind of a publicist, some kind of a repair crew to come in and repair this guy's reputation. He's the face of Papa John's Pizza, the CEO. He's on the board of directors. We can't have him as this bad guy. So he gets on the phone, a conference call with some people in his company, and this company called, what was it called? Laundry. It was a cleaning company. So they get on the phone with him. And apparently Papa John decides at that point he's going to drop an N-bomb on the phone during this conference call. I believe he was trying to let the people know that Colonel Sanders had used the N-word referring to black people back in his day with Kentucky Fried Chicken and never suffered any ill effects from saying that. Not the best thing you could do there, Papa John. But anyway, so the stock just takes a hit that day. Bam, down a few percent. So it hit me. A light bulb went off in my head. I thought, this is the liberal outrage and then corporate knee jerk that we have seen time and time again. A CEO, an employee, a higher up in a company says something incredibly stupid. The company fires them, sends off that heartfelt apology, and everything's back to normal. Everything's fine and dandy again. So I'm like, I'm not going to give you a lesson in options trading, but what I did, I bought the chance to buy Papa John's stock at a low price. So it gave me the opportunity to say, I'm betting that Papa John's will go back up. That's all it is. You're betting. It's like a casino, Wall Street. I'm going to bet now. Even though Papa John's took a dump right there because John said something stupid, the mechanics are all still there. They're still making pizza. They're still delivering a lot of pizza. It's amazing. So I did it. I got on my little E-Trade app and I went online and I bought options that bet that Papa John's would go back up. Lo and behold, the next day they say, well, we've gotten rid of John. No, you'll never see him again. He has nothing to do with this pizza anymore. And by the way, we here at Papa John's Pizza want an inclusive and diverse and tolerant company that will up the same. Just change the name of the company. It's the same speech, the same please, please, we didn't do this. It was that guy's speech. Well, don't you know, within 24 hours, not even, I punched out and made over $2,500 in a quick, less than 24 hours. So I'm like, this is great. You can actually finally make money on the outrage. Like, I figured out how to capitalize on liberal outrage / corporate knee jerk. So a couple of days later, I'm looking. Now I'm just looking for this stuff. And Tesla, Elon Musk from Tesla, was mad at one of the divers from the Thailand rescue, the kids that were in the cave. One of the divers said that Elon Musk's submarine, he had that big thing, it looked like a sexual pleasure device, that he was going to put in the cave and put a kid in and pull the kid out and do that a few times. And the diver said, well, this is crazy. It's a publicity stunt. It never would have worked. So then so Elon Musk called him a pedo guy. He goes, sorry, pedo guy. You really did ask for it. He was making his accusations that the diver was a pedophile, was a pedo. So again, Tesla stock takes a dive. And I'm like, this is just like the Papa John's thing. He's still building rockets. He's still building cars. Nothing changed except someone said something stupid. People got outraged. Knee-jerk reaction. It's perfect. So again, I bought options betting that Tesla stock would go up. Less than 24 hours later, I'm cashing out again. And there we go. I made another $3,000 on that one. I tell you, this is the greatest strategy ever in the stock market. I am literally making money on liberal outrage. I get so annoyed by it on Twitter, mainstream media, everything. I'm like, God, I can't stand this. They're constantly bitching and complaining about everything. And then on that day last week with Papa John's, it hit me. And I got to tell you, all I do now is paw through the business news looking for someone that said something stupid and looking for the company that has to just make the biggest deal of it. And you watch that stock go down, and the very next day when they do damage control, right back up again. So liberal outrage is able to be monetized. So I'm actually thinking about maybe sending some minorities out with tape recorders to corporate executives to get them to say something terrible to them. Can I do that? Is that insider trading or something? I hope not. No, obviously a joke. I would never do anything like that because, quite frankly, it just happens enough that I don't even have to spur anything on. I just have to keep my eyes open and look for that guy. Look for someone that's outraged. Actually, I had my eye on Texas Instruments. The CEO of Texas Instruments just got fired. And it was very suspicious. What did they call it? Personal conduct. Unbecoming to the company. So they had to get rid of him. But until we know what it was, we can't be outraged. So I hope they're not going to start using this strategy as to not let us know what this guy did. Because I need to know. We need him to say something where a group gets outraged. There it is. Texas Instruments loses job for personal misconduct. Now, that could be sexual harassment, could be a racist slur, it could be some type of homophobic thing, maybe even just having a liaison with an employee. I don't know. But the whole way this works is if you actually know what happened. Borders, it happened to the Borders CEO too. He got the boot, and they didn't really say what it was. So I need information on those things so I can make money off of outrage. We'll be right back. Don't go anywhere. Anthony Cumia in at Infowars.com. Defeat the Democrat censorship sale. Free shipping up to 67% off store-wide. Alpha Power 50% off with free shipping. Vitamin Mineral Fusion 50% off with free shipping. BioTrue Selenium 50% off. Hey, how about that? Free shipping. Brain Force Plus 50% off. Free shipping. Super Male and Super Female Vitality 50% off. Of course, free shipping. DNA Plus, Force Plus 50% off. Free shipping. Super Blue product. Oh, 50% off, free shipping. Silver Bullet 9.95 with free shipping. That's $9.95. I thought it was the thing. No, that's the price. Real Red Pill, heard about that, and Real Red Pill Plus 50% off, free shipping. Survival Shield X2 40% off with free shipping. Knockout, that would be $17.76. What a price! Free shipping. Super Silver Wound Dressing Gel 25% off with free shipping. True Alpha Male Pack. Super Male Vitality and Alpha Power, 50% off, free shipping. Vitality and Balance Pack, Super Male Vitality and Real Red Pill, 50% off, free shipping. Mind and Body Challenge Pack. Brain Force Plus with Real Red Pill, 50% off, free shipping. X2 BioTrue Selenium Combo, Survival Shield X2 and BioTrue Selenium, 50% off, free shipping. Infowars Life Mind and Body Pack, Brain Force Plus, and Vitamin Mineral Fusion, 50% off, free shipping. It's amazing. Help yourself out, people. My goodness. Again, I can't tell you how much I love Hollywood. Ba-da-da-da-da-da-da, Hollywood. These people are all effing insane. They got no brain. Whatever it is, there's something going on in Hollywood that prevents these people from having a single rational thought. They have no ability to reason, to figure things out. They live in a bubble, pretty much. I was having a conversation on my program the other day on Compound Media, Anthony Cumia Show. But I was having a conversation the other day about how the fame, this fame that they get in Hollywood, is detrimental to your social skills, I would gather. People talk about being rich and famous. All right. Do they deserve, do Hollywood celebrities deserve that much money for what they're doing? It doesn't seem like hard work. I've done roofing. That's pretty hard. I've installed air conditioning and heating mechanics on a rooftop. Pretty tough work. Acting, I don't know. Doesn't seem that hard. A lot of it seems like you're sitting around for most of the time while everyone else is working. But I think the financial compensation is because they know people are going to clamor around you no matter what you do. So I think you're literally being compensated for the fact that you can't do anything. Do you think Tom Cruise could go to the mall and just hang out or go to a movie? Someone at that level of fame? And a lot of the people that have the most to say on Twitter about, how we should lead our lives are leading that kind of life. They are unable to go out and live a life like 99.99% of the rest of the country. So that compensation, I think, is to say, here, build yourself a fortress of solitude away from everyone else. Live in a bubble. You could visit other people that have their fortresses and have to live like this because they can't go out. But then they think, I have this life, I have this money, I have this fame, I have the inability to go out and stuff, but, I still have something to say. Oh, God, what are you doing? No, you don't. Enjoy your pool, enjoy your company, enjoy your drugs and your booze and whatever else you guys are doing out there, your kinky sex, and have fun. But they can't. They got to say stuff. And they got to express themselves in this childlike way. And for that, I got to bring up, of course, Rosie O'Donnell and Jim Carrey. Look at this. People don't live like that. People aren't whisked away into a waiting SUV by bodyguards that would literally kill for you or be killed for you while people take photos. And It just doesn't happen. You cannot conjure up reasonable assessments of life around you. If that's your life, you got nothing to say. You can't do it. I'm on the Long Island Railroad every day, people. I'm amongst the common man. Look at that. Oh, yeah, that happened to me when I was just walking out of the bathroom. I was just walking out of the bathroom, and I just got blindsided by a bunch of people. But you get the likes of Rosie O'Donnell, one of my favorite follows. Be careful if you follow Rosie O'Donnell. You will be tempted to tweet horrible things about her, and it's so easy to come up with them. But she will block you, and then you will miss the fun and hijinks that is Rosie O'Donnell's Twitter account. She has taken to painting. We've touched on it a few times before on this program, but she has taken to painting as an outlet to her Trump derangement syndrome that so many have gotten. And she's terrible. I mean, honestly, if she's going to put her paintings out there, they're awful. And all I can do is picture her getting, like, watching the news. Oh, Trump's with Putin. Trump's with Putin, and he's giving away the whole country. Where are my paints? Where are my paints? And then you just get some mental institution attendant. Rosie, do you have your... I got my paint. I'm going to paint Donald Trump. I'm going to paint him. I'm going to put criminal on the side. Rosie, why don't you go on an audition or something? I can't. I'm painting. They've lost their minds. Who does this? I was none too happy when Barack Hussein Obama got elected 10 or so years ago. I was not a happy camper. The last thing I thought of was to get some paint. Get paint. I got paint. The president and put cameras on. Look at her. She's bat crap crazy. I'll say it that way. But they are. They've lost their minds. And the whole thing of taking it out in paint. What is that? What is that painting? Oh, is she just terrible? And she posts pictures of herself and stuff. And it just, you could see the deterioration that is going on with these people. They can't seem to, physically, it's eating away at them. Like Rosie O'Donnell before Trump looked like Rosie O'Donnell's looked for years. You know, he kind of rotund. Now, I don't even know what it is. She posts pictures. She doesn't even seem to want to take care of herself anymore. They're all like this. My buddy, look, that's just, what is this? This is what they, look at my painting. I'm going to paint a big L behind me. She's taken to painting like an emotionally disturbed child, because that's really what they are. Anytime you hear things, again, about the trees and Rosie O'Moore, Michael Moore, another one, just mental, just a mental patient. He's talking about how horrible it was that Donald Trump is not supporting the CIA and FBI and other law enforcement and intelligence agencies around the country, and it's terrible and it's un-American. The guy made a movie about how the intelligence community got us into a war. You made the movie. They're like children that are constantly changing the rules to the game. There's a set of rules. You can't just change them mid-game like a 5-year-old would. Very childlike thinking. There's no look, I'm broken. Where's my finger paints? Where are my paints? They're mental. One more mental thing quickly before we leave here. Natalie Portman has a video for PETA, and she compares animal treatment for food to the Holocaust, and especially chickens. She thinks chickens are being murdered like in the Holocaust. Again, no reasoning. Do you know how many chickens have to die to keep people alive in this country? Millions upon millions of chickens every day. What are you going to do if there's no chickens? We can't all graze like you. We can't all graze the prairie like Natalie Portman. Thank you so much. Anthony Cumia from compoundmedia.com. Check out my show, Infowars.com. Thank you.
You know, someone very profoundly once said many years ago that if fascism ever comes to America, it'll come in the name of liberalism.
You're a white man! You're a white man!
If you are receiving this transmission, you are the resistance.
Infowars comes to mind.
Alex Jones.
Alex Jones. Alex Jones.
There's a lot of controversy around this network about Alex Jones.
Google is being accused of hiding negative stories about Hillary and her campaign by changing its algorithm to bury stories like the Clinton body count story. That's according to website Infowars.
It sounds like it's confirmed there are at least 2 shooters with fully automatic weapons.
Dr. Martin Luther King has been shot to death in Memphis, Tennessee.
JFK was shot from the back and the front.
It was almost as if it were a planned implosion. It just pancaked.
They took the babies out of incubators and left the children to die on the cold floor.
I think this is a national security imperative. We have clear things that we do not understand how they work, operating in areas that we can't control.
UFOs. Is this global governance at last? Is it one world? The central bankers in charge?
Israel claims the attack was accidental, but some former U.S. naval officers say it was on purpose. They describe the day's action as part of a continuing cover-up.
Russian intelligence compiled a dossier on Mr. Trump during visits to Moscow.
Russian scum!
Denied everything. He called it all fake news. And he accused CNN of being fake news.
This is a national emergency. If they kill Trump or remove Trump, it will cause a massive civil war in this country.
This is a FEMA high-level alert.
We are at war with Russia.
Are you aware that Mr. Stone also stated publicly that he was in direct communication with Julian Assange and WikiLeaks?
The White House and the President are citing Infowars.
They could shut us down. You're next.
If you are receiving this transmission, you are the resistance. It's Alex Jones.
Extendawise, the latest product from InfoWarsLife.com, fuses all the known compounds that have been proven to be good for our hearts and cardiovascular system. And listen, everybody's got a heart. Well, actually, maybe Hillary and George Soros don't, but everybody else has a heart, and this product is amazing. So, if you have a heart and you want the very best product out there that's designed to aid a healthy heart and cardiovascular system, it's Extendawise, available at InfoWarsLife.com. And like all of our products are game changers, this baby is the most souped up, awesome version the top formulators could come up with and still be affordable. It's one of the very best heart pills out there. It's Extendawise. So get some for yourself and family and friends. It's got the very best fish oil from the fjords. It's very, very pure, very, very clean, and has the EPA type that is specifically good for the heart, cardiovascular system. It's got the properly formulated type of CoQ10 and more. It is Extendawise, now available at InfoWarsLife.com.